What's going on, guys? Welcome to Honest and Uneducated, the show where we do just that. We give our honest and uneducated opinions on pretty much anything we want. Movies, movie news, television, comic books, you name it. Just all sorts of fun stuff like that. And one thing off the top, you can submit topics and questions to us that we will cover on the show just by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. With that down and out of the way, joining me today is none other than Rick Metz. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We got I'm just gonna get right into it here because I think we got pretty much the best movie news that has happened since definitely since the pandemic. This has been, at least in my opinion, the absolute best movie news. I mean, it's been a while, dude. It's been a while since we've had really any good substantial news to begin with. But
That's true.
our first topic is none other than the return of Batfleck himself. Batman, Ben
How about
Affleck,
that?
the real Batman, the best Batman, in my opinion.
The best. That's a pretty bold statement.
Dude, he was the best.
You think he's better than Christian Bale?
Yeah. The movies he was in were not as good as those movies.
No,
But as far as the portrayal of Batman, Ben Affleck is my favorite.
yeah, he's pretty good.
Hands down. Like, he was like he had the physical appearance of what Batman's supposed to look like. He had the best suit. He embodied everything that I talked to you about this before,
I
right?
like his voice a lot better than Christian Bale.
Yeah, the voice modulation that Zach did for Ben was way better than talking like this.
That's so silly.
But like the main thing, and like I told you about this before, and John Campia actually said, my dude John Campia says the exact same thing about Ben Affleck's Batman, and I've always agreed. Ben Affleck's Batman was the really the only iteration of the character we've had where Bruce Wayne was the mask and Batman was the character.
Yeah.
And that's how Batman is. Like, it's like the Christian Bale Batman, it was always Bruce Wayne is the character there. Like,
It's true.
Batman was just a suit he put on to scare criminals and incite fear.
That's very true. I never
You
thought
know,
about
like
it.
like that's literally what that was, as opposed to Ben's Batman. Like, Bruce Wayne died in that alley. Like, and that's like Zach orchestrated that, and Ben portrayed that very well to where the character of Bruce Wayne had died when his parents were murdered. And ever since then, Batman is who you're dealing with. When Ben's talking to Alfred, it's Batman talking to Alfred. It's
You gotta
never
say-
Bruce Wayne.
That alleyway, man, that fucked him up.
Yeah, dude, fuck
It
everybody.
changed him. Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's the biggest thing. That's what I don't know. That's just been the main, like, one of the, not really the main reason that I like it. I don't know. It's just that's one thing in particular that like has always stuck with me about just the portrayal of Ben's Batman, and just like I said, the physical stature of him. Like,
Yeah.
that-
He was
that-
pretty jacked for that.
He was super fucking jacked for BVS.
For Ben Affleck, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was huge. He got super cut for BVS, and like, I mean, he's taller than Henry Cavill, so it was like, could you imagine like
That's pretty crazy. Henry Cavill's tall.
yeah, like, but Ben's like 6'4" and Henry's like 6'1" or something.
6'1's tall, but like 6'4 is like
6'2",
really tall.
yeah, but
I never
that's
thought
the
Ben
thing,
Affleck
too.
was that tall.
Like Christian Bale, they say he's like 6 foot, but I'm pretty sure he's like 5'11", 5'9".
Not even.
You know, like,
He
yeah,
looks short.
it's like they say if you look up Tom Cruise, they say he's like 6'2". That dude's like 5'7".
Well, look at like Tom Hardy playing Bane. They had to use all kinds of crazy angles because Tom Hardy's like 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, and like, could you just imagine like Christian Bale's Batman standing next to Henry Cavill? Like, if there was a BVS movie,
It'd be like
with,
a little kid's.
yeah,
thing.
like it'd be like there's no way Christian, just by looking at him. And I know that's like an unfair thing, just to say, but it's like it just goes to my point of where Ben's portrayal of Batman, just how he looked, the suit, he was Batman.
Well, I would say
Off
too,
the page Batman.
Ben Affleck's Batman was a lot more like comic book oriented. It was definitely more like DC versus Christian Bale's like super realistic take on it.
Yeah,
Which I think that was obviously like the way they were trying to go with Christopher Nolan's Batman films, but yeah,
yeah, and like
it's
don't
not
get me
very
wrong.
comic booky at all.
Yeah, and those movies are far superior to, like, Batman Begins is a much better movie than BVS or
Batman
Justice
Begins
League
is
or anything
great,
like that.
yeah.
Like, yeah, Batman Begins is awesome. But Dark Knight obviously is a much better
Dark
movie.
Knight Rises was
I did not like Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises was like, it's not as bad as Iron Man 3, but it's I put them in the same camp of just
it
where-
definitely didn't live up to the expectations after the Dark Knight came up.
I mean, just like
I expected more.
well, too, it was like those trailers for The Dark Knight Rises, they were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like same with the Iron Man 3 trailers, like they were fucking
I
awesome.
think Bane was a weird villain for that though, and to like portray him so realistically, it just
I like the Bane character.
I like Tom Hardy.
It just didn't really work out.
Taking this plane.
Yeah, like I don't know, but I mean, Bane was good, and I would like to see Bane. Bane could be a really cool villain,
Oh yeah.
like, and especially in a more realistic
In
interpretation.
the comic books,
like,
he was supposed to be like a Spanish guy that
yeah,
was
he's
like,
he's like a Spanish
like a
luchador.
luchador, yeah. That's like even how the mask looked.
Like, there's been a lot of really good iterations where in, like, the comics and even some animated shows where they keep that same, like, backstory, but make him more of, like, a
His voice was
pretty much just a drug pusher for Venom, essentially, like, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Like
it's
a
cool.
kingpin.
Yeah, like, it's cool. Like, Bane could be good if done right, like, and, like, Tom Hardy's Bane was obviously a lot better than, George Clooney's Bane, so from Batman and Robin,
True.
by
True.
any by all stretches of the imaginations, that was not a good Bane. But, Ben Affleck coming back as Batman. Right now, the question really is with this, because he's coming back, been confirmed by Andy Muschietti, the director of the upcoming Ezra Miller Flash movie that was supposed to come out years ago. And Andy Muschietti, the director of It and It 2, has been like probably, I think, the fourth or fifth director attached to this Flash film. And he's come out and said that it's kind of interesting, and I don't know what really to believe, and I'd like to see your take on this. They say that they sent Ben this script like a week ago. Like literally 1 week ago, they sent Ben the script, and then he called like, you know, I don't know, like a week later or the next day or something, and said,
I'm
like,
in.
"Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the question is, right? He's going to be in this Flashpoint movie or this Flashpoint-esque movie, right? That's what this is for Bruce to make an appearance in the Ezra Miller Flash movie, along with Michael Keaton reprising his role as Bruce Wayne Batman. So obviously Ezra, you know, Barry, he's going to be zipping through the multiverse and come across more
That's
than
wild.
likely, huh?
That's wild to me. Like, he wanted my opinion. Like, that's wild.
Right? Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's more of a shock that they got. I don't know which is actually more of a shock now that I'm thinking about it, because Ben was done as Batman.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like he had a whole Batman solo movie script that he wrote. He was going to direct it. That's where Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke was supposed to appear. That's why he showed up at the end of Justice League.
Which would have been perfect.
Yeah, that was all set up for Ben's solo Batman movie. And everybody who like attached to Warner Brothers who read the script all said the script was great. And it was one of the best Batman scripts that they've ever read, kind of thing. And when Ben was kind of given the song and dance that he was going to continue playing Batman, and Matt Reeves was directing the new, you know, like, trilogy and all that stuff, and the new Batman series, he said at like Comic-Con that he'd get down on the floor and be an ape for Matt Reeves, because Matt Reeves is the director of like Planet of the Apes movies and everything.
Yeah.
And but at that point in time, like, we all knew he was actually done with Batman. He wasn't going to be Batman.
No.
Like at that point, he was actually done. They just hadn't confirmed he was done. And he, like, when he'd get asked about the script, you know, the Batman script, would be like during all this time, he's like, well, you know, like, I just couldn't get the story where, you know, where I liked it, so we're just not going to do it anymore, blah blah. It's like, that's complete bullshit.
It is.
Because there's so many people at Warner Brothers who came out and said, in DC in general, who read that script and said it was a great script, one of the best Batman scripts ever. So it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of more shocking. I think more shocking that Ben would come back as opposed to Michael Keaton coming back.
Michael Keaton, I feel like, was just like, hell yeah, I'll put the suit on again.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
Especially because I can almost guarantee you the Michael Keaton thing is going to just be a quick cameo. Ezra's going to be zipping through the multiverse, and he's going to stop in the Batcave, go to talk to Bruce.
And it's Michael Keaton.
Yeah, and it's going to be Michael Keaton as opposed to Ben Affleck, which he's familiar with. Because that's kind of, which makes for a good scene, because Andy Muschietti, the director of this Flash movie, has said that he hasn't said like how much or how large of a role it's going to be as far as like screen time for Ben and, you know, Ben's Bruce or Batman, whatever it is. Didn't confirm whether or not he's actually going to put the bat suit on or anything like that. But he said that it's going to be like an integral part to like the emotional, you know, tension of the movie, because Barry and Bruce both have like a connection because both of their moms were murdered. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a like Bruce's involvement is supposedly supposed to be, just lends some heavy emotional weight to the overall story of the film, and they say it's a substantial like role in that way, but they don't say how much of Ben is going to be in the movie, which is kind of the question because it's like if we want to believe the story that they gave Ben this script a week ago,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be going into production on this movie very soon. That would lead me to believe that if Ben would have said no, I don't want to do it, then this role must not be very big because
because
they're about to go into production. If Ben was going to be integral, like have like 30 minutes of screen time, they would have had to have had his like approval and hearsay to be in the movie and whatever. He would have had to. They would have had to go to him and like pitched him the idea of being like a core character in the movie way ahead of time. Because if he would have said no, they would have had to rework the script altogether.
quick question.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck did not portray Batman in Suicide Squad, right?
No, he did.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say something told me he didn't, but like I remember seeing that scene with like Deadshot and all that sort of stuff, and it was like
Yeah.
Ben Affleck.
Well, that's the thing. Like surprisingly he has been Batman on screen more than anyone else because he's done it in
with his like
movies.
cameo appearances.
Yeah, because of Suicide Squad, Justice League, BVS, and then was he in another one?
I don't think so.
I could have swore he had 4.
I don't know what.
Either way, if it was just even so, it was just those 3. Regardless, then he's been in there just as much as Christian Bale was in one, I guess. At that point, but that's why I could have swore it was 4. No, because he had like not really an appearance, but was like no, yeah, he had an appearance in Wonder Woman.
Oh,
I think he was actually like physically like they had one. I think. Or it was just the email thing, whatever. I can't remember. It's actually been a while since I've watched anything but Man of Steel because Man of Steel's the best one.
It's good.
But so that's really the ultimate question though with this is like how big of a role is he actually going to have in this movie? You know what I mean? Like, do you think they're going to have? Because like I said, if they would have had to have known way in advance if this is going to be like a big role, and they would have had to have been like signed
If you're
on.
giving the guy a week's notice, I don't think it's going to be very big.
But the thing is, though, can we believe that?
Well, I mean, obviously, Ezra Miller's Flash, like he is Ben Affleck's the Batman in that universe. So, if Batman's going to have a part in it, you would think obviously he's going to have more screen time than like Michael Keaton.
Well, yeah, presumably it would be a.
I feel like that's going to be like a short little like, oh, this isn't the same Batman. See,
I agree. The Michael Keaton thing, I think, is going to be a quick one scene cameo.
30 seconds, like
that's it. Maybe a couple minutes, like, and that's going to be it.
Yeah,
but. Ben's though, the fact that it's supposed to be, I don't know, like not so much integral, but more, I don't know, heavy, like a more important role for the overall just emotional,
My question is, are they going to have
Flash.
other people playing other heroes outside of Batman? Obviously Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck, but are they going to have like, the guy from like the Superman TV shows playing Superman as well? Or
they could really do anything for it.
Well, you'd think they'd do other characters outside of just Batman. But
you would think. But I mean, if you know anything, if they're gonna do something like along the lines of Flashpoint, because like the real Flashpoint story, it involves like the Amazons and the Atlanteans are at war with each other, and it's like,
of course they are.
Made its way onto the human side of things. So they're not gonna do any of that. Like I know for a fact they're not gonna have that stuff going on. It would be really cool, but they're not gonna do that. They're gonna tell a completely different kind of story. Like even if it's called Flashpoint, it's not going to be like that Flashpoint story. It's going to be a different one. But even in that Flashpoint story, Batman is like a major character in it but it's not Bruce Wayne Batman, it's Thomas Wayne Batman.
Yeah.
That's where Barry ends up when Barry goes through and like causes Flashpoint, the world he's in with the Atlanteans and Amazonians at war, Thomas Wayne is Batman because Bruce died in the alley.
Yeah.
And like, so that whole thing's going on. Which again, that's kind of a thing too. Like with Ben coming back for this, I wonder if that gives more credence. I bet it makes it more likely that Jeffrey Dean Morgan could be reprising his role as Thomas Wayne.
That'd be cool.
And they might actually do Thomas Wayne Batman.
I like him. He's a good actor.
Yeah, I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And I'd love to see him come back and play Thomas Wayne Batman. Because Thomas Wayne Batman is a really cool character. Like,
I always think when I
he's
think
really
of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I don't even think of like The Walking Dead. I just think of Watchmen,
yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah,
comedian.
comedian one.
And I thought he was like one of the redeeming qualities of that movie. But
I like that movie, dude.
I thought it was good too. It's just really long and kind of confusing
it's
if you're not like a
fine.
Watchmen fan.
I didn't think it was too long. I think I think it was a bit ahead of its time.
Well, we talked about Dr. Manhattan and all that. Like he's one of the coolest characters ever, I think.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I didn't even realize he existed until that movie came out because I never
Right.
really.
You never read the graphic novel.
No, I didn't even know that existed. It
Right.
was just kind of like, yeah, it's not the most popular thing.
Yeah. That's a Jeffrey Dean Morgan's great.
Yeah.
So I mean, then but that kind of the only reason I would kind of think that he probably Ben being back for this, which is like I said, the best news ever. But if they were to bring Thomas Wayne Batman into the equation now, then they're gonna have 3 Batmen in this movie.
A lot of Batman.
Like, and so I don't know if like there's really a place because if they're gonna do the Michael Keaton thing, I guess if it's just like a quick cameo, then they could still do the Thomas Wayne thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like we would know. Like, they're obviously not doing a traditional Flashpoint story, or we would already know that Thomas Wayne Batman was going to be a part of it at this point.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, you'd think that would be like leaked somehow.
Yeah, like because I mean, if they're gonna come out and announce Ben's return ahead of time, like ahead of DC fandom, because you'd think this would be something they would have waited till DC fandom to do, but I guess some people found out about it before fandom, even though it's just in like a day or two at this point. It would have already happened by the time we put this video up. So I don't know. I guess the news they were worried about the news just coming out before fandom, so they decided just to get out in front of it and confirm it themselves. But I'm gonna read what Andy Muschietti actually said, just so I didn't butcher anything. So he said he's a very substantial part of the emotional impact of the movie. The interaction and relationship between Barry and Affleck's Wayne will bring an emotional level that we haven't seen before. Muschietti tells Variety Fair, who broke the news, it's Barry's movie, it's Barry's story, but the characters are more related than we think. They both lost their mothers to murder, and that's one of the emotional vessels of the movie. That's where Affleck's Batman kicks in. So I guess I didn't butcher it that much. It's pretty much exactly what I said.
No, yeah.
Spot
on.
So I think the real question is at this point, just like how much of him is going to be in here, and is he just going to be Bruce Wayne, or are we going to see Ben in the suit again?
Batfleck.
Yeah, like because that's. I don't know, man. I'm just excited. Any way that we get Ben back as Batman, I'm down for. I'm hoping though, like what my pipe dream here is that they like if they would have went to Ben and been like, "Yo, like, can you show up in this movie? Like, can you be a part of this movie?" And he's like, "I don't know. I didn't want to do any. Like, I'm done with the Batman thing. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I'm in a good place now. Whatever. Like, I don't want to do it." But they're like, but we really would like to have you in the movie. Then he's like, okay, I'll do it if I can make my Batman movie.
Well, yeah,
The one I wanted to make.
I thought the Batman role after like Justice League and all that sort of stuff, it seemed like it really stressed Ben Affleck out. Like he did not seem happy with it. That one interview that everybody's seen where it's Henry Cavill talking about it, and then you've got Ben Affleck sitting on the side, just like looking off into space, just like totally spaced out.
Right.
But
well, that's the thing.
Fleck.
Like, he's gone on record and said like it was like just a lot. He had a lot going on at the time too. Though, like his divorce was going on. His alcohol.
I could see that face. Like he's seen some things.
Yeah, like so. Hey, man, he had a lot going on now. He's in a much better place now, and now with the new leadership at Warner Brothers, if they were able to convince him to come back for this, my pipe dream hope is that like he did it with a caveat of he gets to make his solo Batman movie with Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke for HBO Max or something. You know what I mean? Because like HBO Max needs content, and if they want to, they could lean into this Snyder Cut thing and kind of keep the DCU alive with Ben and the Snyder Cut on
then
HBO
you get Robert
Max.
Pattinson's Batman, but that's a whole other thing. But like, there's a lot of Batman going on.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of people are thinking that they could, if with Ben coming back and this being a Flash movie, that they could like use the Flashpoint multiverse time travel thing to give Ben's Batman a proper send off in this movie, and then like
move into the
and then like say like Ben's in the movie, Ezra's traveling through the multiverse, going back through time and all this stuff, and then at the end of the movie when he comes back, all of a sudden it's Robert Pattinson Batman.
That would be crazy.
I don't think they'll do that though.
No, but that would be
Like,
crazy.
where it would be like I could, it'd be a possibility because before for the longest time we've all but kind of been under the impression that this Robert Pattinson Batman is outside of the DCEU. It's not like he wasn't a replacement for Ben Affleck's Batman. We just assumed like they weren't going to do Batman anymore in the DCEU and just kind of keep going with like kind of solo movies, right? With like a solo Flash movie, solo Aquaman movie.
It's not like the Marvel
Wonder Woman
MCU.
Well, that's the thing though. That's kind of how like what we were kind of being told by DC was happening, but kind of not because we haven't got any sort of confirmation from DC or anybody in like in regards to we haven't even been told officially if Henry Cavill is going to play Superman again. You know what I mean? Like they're either keeping things close to the vest, or they just genuinely don't really know. Like
which is very
what their
possible.
plan is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that giving Ben the chance to make his movie would be, like I said, be my pipe dream thing. But I think if I just don't know if I was Ben, if I would want to come back just to do some random Flash movie.
Well, it's obviously got to be good if it's like he wants to do it. You know, you would think.
Who knows? Because that's the thing. Like, if we were to go with the story of this actually being a week, like they gave the script to him a week ago, and so like then if that's the case,
it didn't take much time for him to mull it over. And
well, no, and that's the thing. But if the bigger story with that is if that's the real story, it's not a big role.
No,
because there's no way they could have given him that script, and then because if he says no
within 7 days,
then they're fucked.
like, yeah,
and like they're gonna have to redo the whole script. You know what I mean? So there's no way.
It's pretty significant. It sounds like
it would have to be. That's why. Is that the case? So it's just going to be a small role, or is it more likely that this is something that they've been talking about for a long time now? Because we know that Zack Snyder had talked to WB about the Snyder Cut back in November or December.
Yeah.
And they only announced that officially a couple months ago.
I hope that's good.
So they've known, and it's been in the works for months that Snyder was going to be finishing his cut of the movie. But we didn't know that until a couple months ago. And then Snyder confirms he knew months way before that, like 4 or 5 months prior, that had already been set in motion.
Yeah.
So the same could be for this. Like, we wouldn't know, but this could be the very same case that, like, maybe Warner Brothers and Ben had been talking about this for months now. Like, we don't know. So, and if that were the case, then I think for it could be a pretty substantial role to where he has 10, 15, 20 minutes of screen time. But B,
that doesn't even sound like that much. But
well, it's not. But you got to think Thanos in Infinity War, I think, had the most screen time, and it was something along the lines of like 21 minutes.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it always seems like a very small number, but it's just the way movies are cut, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just how they're cut, and especially with a lot of
like
characters.
10-second scenes, and it cuts to something else.
Exactly.
And that adds up. So.
Yeah, exactly. So like 20 minutes is I think too. If it's a 90-minute average movie, 20 minutes of it, that's pretty substantial. That's like a quarter of it, more than a quarter of it. So, but yeah, it would be about a quarter. But anyway, I would just think though, like kind of going back to that stuff, like as far as why would you, if you're Ben Affleck too at the same time and you've been done with Batman for years now, you put this stuff behind you, you're moving on, you're filming a movie with your boy Matt Damon right now, you're directed by Ridley Scott, they're in the middle of filming that movie. He's got a movie, he just signed a deal to go film with like Paramount, I think, like that's going to be happening soon. Like he's put this Batman shit behind him like years ago. Does Warner Brothers come to you and just asking you to do a quick cameo in a Flash movie? Is that appealing to you in any way? If like, what are you getting out of that?
Yeah, money.
You know what I mean? I mean, other than Ben Affleck doesn't need money.
No,
like like I wouldn't. Because there's no way Warner Brothers would just offer him an absorbent amount of money
to make a short
cameo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if he would have asked for too much money or like not wanted to do it, then they just would have cut that role out, and so it would go to my point of it having to be like a pretty inconsequential role in the movie.
Yeah.
So like just the fact that he was able to come back makes me think that they probably had this worked out and planned far before a week ago.
Oh sure. I mean that's just the word out there is that like, oh, we got it a week ago.
Well, that's what Andy Muschietti, the director of the Flash movie, that was his words.
Yeah.
But like I said, Ben Affleck for like 2 years was saying, "Oh, I'm still gonna be Batman." He was already done. Like he was done with that. Like, but
Yeah.
for 2 years, he went on and said it because WB he needed to promote Justice League. They couldn't have like the story be about Ben Affleck no longer being Batman before Justice League came out.
Sure.
Because then it just sort of like now that's the story as opposed to Justice League's coming out, everybody. Like, let's go watch it and have fun.
Yeah.
You know? So then like so it's not like it wouldn't be the first time Warner Brothers has lied to the audience in some capacity about something. They kept the Snyder Cut close to the vest for months.
Yeah.
Like for almost half a year before we knew. I'm thinking because if I'm in Ben Affleck's shoes, like I said, if I'm done with Batman, I don't think coming back for a small cameo for next to no reason in a Flash movie,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be enough for me.
No.
If I was Ben, I would say like I'll do it if I can play, like do my Batman movie.
Yeah.
And
like make me a deal out of
like
this.
like I'll come back. Let
Give me
me
a
do
good
my
reason.
Batman movie for HBO Max. Let's do this right. Yeah, and then because some people are saying it'd be like maybe this will be a proper send off for Ben's character in the Flash movie, and then do like the Robert Pattinson switch at the end of it, right? I think a more proper send off for Ben and Ben's Batman would be these motherfuckers giving him his solo movie.
Yeah.
That's a proper send off. Because if Ben doesn't want to come back for any more Batman, let him do his movie, and then he doesn't come back. I think that would be the best case scenario. The only weird thing too with that is like Henry Cavill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to continue doing Henry Cavill as Superman. Like I feel like that's a foregone conclusion. They just haven't announced it, right? If Ben does come back for this, and I'm hopefully right that he does get to do a solo movie, what's to say that they don't just keep this DCEU train going, and like maybe they can have a proper like Batman and Superman movie, not a Batman v Superman, like a world's finest, a Batman and Superman movie,
Yeah.
where they're working together, like properly. You know what I mean? Like think about that would be a great send off for the both of them. You know what I mean? Because if let's say Ben comes back and does this thing for the Flash, they let him do his solo movie and they just put it on HBO Max or something, right? And then Henry Cavill comes back, he does another Man of Steel movie or whatever. Then maybe they do a fucking Justice League 2.
That'd be cool.
Because if Ben's back, they can do that properly.
Hopefully, I was gonna say, hopefully it's a little better than the first one.
Well, yeah, I mean, all things being equal, it'll hopefully be better than the first Justice League. Yeah, if they do that, but they can't really, in my opinion, it'd be really awkward for them and like in a lot of ways to even do a Justice League 2 without having that cast.
Yeah,
because I mean, yeah, you could just swap them out and like do whatever, but that just becomes more problematic in my opinion. Like, unless they did do the Robert Pattinson bait and switch Flashpoint thing to where, oh, now this is like, but I just feel like that's also kind of convoluted. Like, properly would be they can get the whole cast back and come to another Justice League movie, right? Like, that would be the best way for them to do it if they could.
yeah.
But again, that's a pipe dream. But like, I feel like doing all that and then ending maybe Henry Cavill and Ben's run in a World's Finest movie. Because then Henry would finally get his solo Superman movie that he deserves. Like, that's the biggest thing with like Henry and like all these questions about is he going to be Superman or not again. The dude hasn't even been able to play Superman yet.
No.
Like, he literally hasn't even had a chance. Like, in Man of Steel, he was just a farm boy who discovers he's Superman. Then he fucking dies in BVS. And then he comes back halfway through the end of Justice League. And like, he hasn't even had a movie yet.
No.
And he hasn't had a chance, and he said it himself. Like, he hasn't had a chance to properly do the character justice himself. So, like, he needs to come back and do his goddamn solo Superman movie. Let Ben do his solo Batman movie. Then let them do a World's Finest or Justice League 2 to end it for them. That'd be the most proper ending for both of them, who Henry Cavill is the best Superman we've had, and Ben Affleck is the best Batman we've had.
True.
So,
in your opinion.
Yeah, this is
I would say Superman.
This damn show is my honest and uneducated opinion. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
No.
This is all just how I personally
You really don't
feel.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know anything. Like, I don't work on these movies. I don't know. I'm just some dude watching them, you know. And I'm just saying, I'm just giving my opinion,
Yeah.
you know. And I would just say, I know I'm not alone in it by all means, by any means. So I would like to, if it was within my power, I would like to properly send these boys off, give them their own movies, let them come together and do World's Finest, and then they can be done if they want to be done. You know what I mean? That's what I would like to see. So just to wrap this up though, how much do you think of a role he's actually going to have in this movie?
I think it's going to be pretty minor, just from everything we've talked about and said. That's my honest and uneducated opinion, though.
Of course, yeah. Would you like to see him come back for more though, or am I
Yeah.
just spitting bullshit?
No, I mean it would be cool. You know, I thought about it a little bit, and I think he is a great Batman. And so you know, whatever happens, happens. And I would love to see Deathstroke in like a live action movie. And I'm gonna butcher this. Joe Manganiello.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Close.
I follow him on Instagram. I'm a fan of his. Like, I think he's a cool dude, and I think he makes a perfect Deathstroke. So
He does, man.
that would be
in the suit.
well, the dynamic between him and Ben Affleck, I think, would be really good.
Oh.
I guess villain and hero sort of thing. So
Yeah. I just that's the thing, man. I was so bummed that when like we found out that movie wasn't going to happen.
his suit looked badass.
He looked so fucking good. It was exactly like
The
the Arkham
shotgun
Origins.
shells, like, on his
Dude,
shoulder
it
and-
was so good. And then seeing him at the end of Justice League with the white goatee and everything. I
Yeah.
was like, damn, dude, this is going to be good.
I know.
And
then it just
then, oh yeah, Ben's out as Batman. We're not making the movie anymore. And it's like, oh,
if I was Joe, I'd be
okay.
pissed.
I'm sure he's not happy about it.
He's a good actor, and he'd be like a perfect.
He's a good actor. He's great, dude. He's a fucking nerd, dude. He plays
He
D&D,
plays
like
D&D,
hardcore, like him and
He's
Sam
got a really cool
Witwer,
clothing
like,
company.
yeah, him and Sam Witwer run. They do their like they wrote that book, a D&D book. I think they were
That's
part
crazy.
of it. Like, yeah, man, they're
I've never played
popping off,
D&D.
dude. And I just want to see that movie, dude.
Popping off.
I just want to see that. I just want to see that Ben Affleck Batman. That's what I want to see.
Maybe you will.
I hope I will, dude. I hope I will. But the question is, guys, what do you think? Do you think that pretty much everything we said was just, or what do you think about my pipe dream? Do you think it's possible that if Henry Cavill, or not Henry Cavill, but yeah, I guess Henry Cavill, I had a kind of a pipe dream about Henry Cavill too. But if Ben Affleck does come back as Batman, do you think that it's going to be just, you know, from all intents and purposes, if this was just, he found out a week ago, there's no way this could be a substantial role. Like, yeah, it could be impactful, like Andy Muschietti said, but there's no way it could be a substantial role. If he just found out about it a week ago, they would have had to have been able to cut it out. Or do you think that Warner Brothers, just like they did with the Snyder Cut and just like Ben Affleck did in the past, they've kept this close to the vest for months upon months now? And hopefully, in my opinion, they signed Ben on actually to finish and do that solo Batman movie with Joe Manganiello. Maybe put it on HBO Max or something. Do you think that's crazy? Is that something you guys would like to see? Whatever it is, just let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So we're gonna keep it in the world of the Snyderverse, if you will, here for our next topic. Because we got a quick little teaser for Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut of Justice League, for the kind of a teaser trailer for the full trailer that's going to be coming at DC Fandom. So we're going to kick into that real quick. It doesn't really show a whole lot, Rick. Really, the only thing I think in the teaser, or you can just look for it online if you haven't seen it yet, but the only real quote-unquote new footage, I guess, that was really in it was just a quick shot of Ray Fisher's Cyborg, pre-Cyborg, at the football stadium, which obviously we know was completely cut from the theatrical version of Justice League. So it's cool to see that stuff's like going to be, you know, added back into the film. I don't know how substantial it's really going to be, but it does give us some more.
Well, that's pre-Cyborg. That's like
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with it. It gives us a little bit more of a backstory to his character as opposed to, you know, what we got in Justice League, which is really nothing, you know. So, and speaking of which, the other kind of main story that kind of goes with with the Snyder Cut and the Cyborg stuff is that Warner Media, we know that Ray Fisher, but let me give a little backstory here. Ray Fisher has recently come out on like Twitter a couple times now and said that there's been like abuse on set during the when Joss Whedon came in to take over the reshoots for Zack Snyder when he had to step away or be removed or whatever story you want to believe. Ray Fisher has for the past month or so now been speaking out against just a lot of the production staff and Joss Whedon and then Jeff Johns as well. He called out at one point saying that Jeff Johns essentially, I don't know, threatened his career at some point, and then Joss Whedon was just being like really abusive on set, and like now it looks like Warner Media is actually investigating the production behind
Yeah.
the events here, which is interesting because like it's this ain't no TMZ site by any
No.
means, so I don't really care about you know that kind of news. I'm not here to talk about the drama behind things and things like that. But
Yeah, because it's like you not being there, not seeing it. You know, you're going by
exactly.
a guy's words, and
Yeah, it's just I don't like playing he said she said stuff, and that's exactly what this kind of thing is. Which
well, it looks like too, and from what you could see, like he was totally fine with it before, but then it says down there, "I'd like to take a moment and forcefully retract every bit of that this statement about him giving like thumbs up to Whedon."
right,
So
and that's the thing. Like it's just he said she said really, but
hearsay.
it's hearsay. But Warner Media investigating it actually shows that like perhaps something was actually going on,
Hmm.
and maybe after Ray Fisher came out and said these things, maybe some other crew members or
We're like, oh
other
yeah,
people came and actually like defended and supported his statement. I feel like
yeah,
that would be the only thing that would really, in my opinion, bring any credence to why Warner Media would actually want to get involved and investigate it. So, like I said, this ain't really a TMZ site. I'm not going to comment too much more on that, but I just found that kind of interesting because this just dropped the other day, pretty much around the same time that trailer dropped, I think, or a little bit afterward. And this was yesterday, so it was like a day or so after the trailer drops. There's just been a lot of I don't know. Ever since the Snyder Cut came out, there's just been a lot of like new events, like Batfleck's coming back. This like Ray Fisher started coming out with all these comments about how on set treatment and all this stuff and blah blah. Then, funnily enough, literally this just dropped like a couple minutes ago, or
look at
23
that
hours
face.
ago, where I saw it a couple minutes ago, but it's dropped the other day where someone asked Zack Snyder if Superman's line from the theatrical cut, where he asked Batman, "Tell me, do you bleed?" He's like, "Is that going to be in the movie?" And Snyder's like, "No, it literally makes no sense." when you really think about it, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Because it's like
He's a human being.
it's like yeah,
It made sense when Batman said that to Superman. Like,
yeah,
"Do you
and I
bleed?"
get that's the thing. I understand the humor behind the line because he's saying it jokingly in a
Yeah,
way, condescendingly to Batman, like
sure.
because that's kind of one thing where like I kind of disagree where Snyder's coming from. I totally agree, it doesn't make sense, but when you look at it as more of a callback to BVS, when Superman has now flown away and Bruce mumbles that to himself, it actually indicates that Superman could hear him. And like that's kind of the callback, if you want to go as far as like to say that, which was kind of like in some ways, if you apply that mindset to it, in my opinion, at least makes it kind of a good line
Yeah.
in all reality. But I totally understand that like it definitely doesn't make any sense.
No,
Like
no.
it is a bit out of character for Superman for one,
Yeah, and it's
and
not something he would say.
yeah, and like obviously Batman does bleed,
He's a human being.
and like in this situation, what makes the most like the least amount of sense with it is Superman is sitting there fighting everybody because he doesn't remember who the fuck he is.
Yeah.
So him saying that to Batman in that scenario literally doesn't make sense.
No, because he wouldn't have even remembered him
Yeah.
saying it in the first place.
Exactly. So like my whole idea here, we're like, it's a good line if you consider the callback thing. It is completely fucking negated based on the context of that scene because Superman isn't supposed to have any memories right now. He's not supposed to
Yeah.
know what the hell's going on.
So yeah, he's not going to say that statement.
So
"No,
why
only
would
Bill
he-
Batman said that to me before?"
Exactly. So yeah, in the end, Zach is completely right within the context of that scene.
it makes no sense.
It does make absolutely no sense. So I don't know if that's really what he was referring to, or if it's just the fact that, like we said before, we're like, no shit, I believe, dude, I'm a human being. Like,
Yeah, like
so I think there's definitely more going against the line than what was going towards the line. But what I think is even kind of is almost like a stupid non-question that this dude even asked in all reality, though, because if that was shot by Whedon, we already know Zach isn't using anything shot by Whedon. He's already came out and confirmed that.
yeah.
He said just the other week he would rather burn the movie than use a single piece of footage that he didn't shoot. He obviously didn't shoot that line.
Mm.
Like, there's a lot that happens in that scene that he didn't shoot because you can tell, you can pretty much explicitly see every scene Whedon shot when Henry's on screen because he has a CGI mustache job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Which looked awful.
it didn't look very good. It didn't look good. And I liked like a little bit after that where Henry made a couple videos like making fun of the stash and stuff. Did you see
Yeah.
the thing he did where he was like shaving it off? Like made
He's
like a,
contractually obligated to keep that. I mean,
yeah, but you know, like, dude, Paramount could have let him fucking shave it. Like
Yeah.
that was really just them slinging.
how long would it take him to grow it back? I mean,
Well, they wouldn't need to grow it back. Like they could put a fake mustache on him, and you would never fucking.
yeah, if you could Photoshop a mustache off somebody, you could definitely Photoshop one on
You would
somebody.
need to.
You could use a fake.
That's what I'm saying. You
like-
could do a practical mustache, and no one would ever know.
No, I mean,
Do you think Chris Hemsworth's hair is that long for Thor?
but it looks
No,
good.
but it looks more. It doesn't look like a wig. Like they are like
They're
super
good at that
with,
stuff
Yeah, they
now.
like the how good the makeup artists are with practical effects these days is insane, especially with hair.
Oh yeah,
Like if done right, the only continuity error you could possibly have is that it may not look exactly the same because Henry's may have grown in a little bit different.
sure.
But still, you could get away with it. God knows how much they actually had
Who
to
knows,
still
maybe
shoot.
Superman wanted a mustache. I don't know.
I mean, he did have a beard at one point in Man of Steel.
I was
so
gonna
he
say,
just-
like, I mean, he can obviously grow facial hair.
yeah,
so-
it honestly would have made sense for them just to put a beard on him for when he came out of the grave.
that would have been kind of cool, actually.
And like that's what happened in the comics. So, like he actually in the black suit has a beard. So it actually, if Whedon would have not cut out the black suit stuff and just went with the mustache and just had him have a full beard,
I'm gonna sound really stupid here for a second. What's the purpose of the black suit? Why the black suit?
the
Uneducated.
the easiest way of answering it is in the comics, the black suit like helped absorb sunlight so he could heal faster.
So it doesn't mean he's like Superman.
No,
like,
no. It
it's
was
just-
actually a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
like he needed to absorb the rays of sunlight quicker to
Well, black
regenerate.
absorbs
So-
light.
Yeah, so the black suit allowed quicker and more efficient absorption of the sunlight.
which makes sense.
I think there may have been other iterations of it too, like stylistic kind of thing too, just like he's back in black kind of thing. You know what I mean? But that was the nutshell version of it,
Yeah.
which makes sense to some degree. But he actually had a beard, like in like the comics when that happened too. So like he could have just kept the mustache. But well, Paramount could have easily just put a fucking fake one on him. They were just slinging their fucking around, just like nah, Warner Brothers, you can't. And they
Yeah.
flop it down on the table. You can't shave Henry's mustache.
Ooh.
That's all that.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, come the fuck on. Just let him shave the mustache. Like, who cares? But yeah, I mean, yeah. So nothing really crazy. I'm like you said like earlier, dude. I hope the Snyder Cut's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we
Like,
can hope.
I feel like no matter what, it's gotta be better than the one we got.
Well, I
Like-
said this to you earlier too, and I'm obviously not as big of a DC fan, but I watched a lot of the footage from the original Justice League the other night, and I just, if you're comparing it to like the Avengers or something like that, it's just the same caliber. I don't know.
Dude,
That's my opinion.
as far as filmmaking goes, no.
It just
in no
seems
way.
so cheesy when I rewatched it and watched that final battle. Just like, it looks fake. It doesn't.
Yeah. The final battle was nearly completely reshot by Whedon.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah,
Like a lot of it wasn't, but a lot of it was because
so you're not even going to see a lot of that footage.
yeah, because that's the thing too. Like just like with Henry Cavill, you can tell everything Whedon shot.
I think Whedon's version too is a lot lighter versus Zack Snyder. He's always kind of like
There
had
was.
a
You
darker
know-
take on things. And I think that would honestly make it look better.
Well, the whole end scene, that in battle scene where it was all like a red hue in the sky.
Yeah.
That was all added by Whedon. If you remember the original trailer for the Justice League movie, when Zack was still on it, that first Comic Con trailer he released, that whole scene with Batman in the Batmobile, and like he shoots the big ass bullet out of the car, and you see a slow motion shot of the big ass bullet hitting the ground and shit.
Yeah.
That's all in Whedon's shot. But in
the red
Zack's original
sky
trailer,
was,
there's no red sky or anything.
yeah.
All that red shit was added by Joss Whedon, and it made it look fucking shitty. And then you can actually look online if you haven't seen it. Someone went in and recolor graded that entire last scene to make it look like Zack Snyder's original take. So they took all the red hue out of everything.
Yeah.
And that alone makes it just visually look better.
Well, like if you turn
it's still the same fucking scene, but
turn down just the general white balance of it, where it's just darker, like what thinking of like Instagram when you use filters and edit, like you can darken the image. Darkening the movie itself would have made it look so much better. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because it's so light. Cyborg to me, like that was the biggest caveat for me, was like, this does not look real. Like in the MCU, they could have made it look great. But
there's a lot of scenes though where like, especially anymore when they stopped with like Iron Man, Tony just completely stopped Robert Downey Jr. rather. Like there were times where Robert Downey Jr.
his suit looked fake as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the newer, like the nanotech one, it's completely fake. Spider-Man looks
like,
completely fucking fake. And
Iron Man 1, they had like actual practical effects
exactly.
with the CGI, and it looked good. Yeah,
it looks perfect.
And
that's what I was gonna say.
Spider-Man just looks totally fake.
I hate that they did that. I like that they animate the eyes, but like literally they CGI so much out of his suit. It loses all.
He doesn't look like a real person.
It looks all flat. Yeah, it looks bullshit. I hate.
Is there any point in the movie where? Well, yeah, there's a couple like close-up shots. And
they have some where they don't do.
He's wearing like an actual suit. Yeah,
but there's like no, he wears the real suit like on set and everything.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like they have behind the scene like set photos drop without any CG, and it looks fucking great. Like these costumers make these awesome Spider-Man costumes, and then they just make these VFX artists just fucking paintbrush all the fucking God. What is that?
Movies are too CGI nowadays.
Some of them, and in some cases they are for sure.
I mean, the first movie like that was like the original episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars. I remember watching that, and it was like, there's not a practical effect in this movie.
Whoa. That was groundbreaking
at the
visual
time.
Effects for the time, dude.
At the time.
Like that was for the time.
But I remember watching behind the scenes.
For that.
It's just all green screen with real actors. Like,
blue screen.
Blue
use blue screens on primarily. Just saying. Get your shit together, Rick. But no, I give the prequels a straight up pass because they innovated.
It was the early 2000s.
Well, they innovated that. There was no like that was something that had not been done before. Completely CGI rendered landscapes and like on a set essentially. Yeah. That's groundbreaking. The CG definitely does not hold up.
Off topic, I don't like the new Star Wars movies, but I am glad that they used a lot more practical effects.
Yeah, it looks good,
and it looked great. Yeah, but they had a good balance of like CG and
and the CG effects. Is like so much better now too.
Oh god,
there's so much CG in that movie you don't even know is CG, and that's the whole point of CG.
Yeah,
because like that's the biggest problem. Like a lot of like especially like big budget films have anymore is like they just throw too much CG in at you when they don't need to, and then
because they think that's what people want.
Well, the best use of CG is when you don't even know it's there. That's like in 1917, it won this is a great example actually. 1917, and then what was the name of the Ryan Gosling movie where he played Neil Armstrong?
I know what movie you're talking about.
I can't remember the name of the movie right now. But either way, 1917 and First Man. It was First Man. Both of those movies won Best Visual Effects at the Oscars.
Well, those look
not
great.
Avengers Endgame, not Avengers Infinity War.
There's a lot of fake
Black
shit
Panther.
Avengers too.
Yeah, the reason being is because 1917 and First Man, you didn't know what you were looking at was CGI.
Well, look at
and like when you look at the behind the scenes, you're like your mind will be fucking blown.
Look at Apollo 13 compared to First Man, which I've seen both of those movies. Like, there's no CGI in that movie. It's all practical effects, and it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, I just know. I definitely the Spider-Man suit just bugs the shit out of me more than the
mid-90s to mid-90s CGI was so bad though. I remember they tried to integrate it, and like you mentioned before, it's like PS2 rendered graphics in like a real movie, and it just looks awful.
Oh yeah, it looks like shit. It looks so bad. I just hate when they do that because like there's a couple scenes in Justice League where you can see they CGI'd Ben's suit Batman's suit. And just like a couple scenes where like he bends over and stuff, because like as obviously the suit that he was wearing, that tactical suit, did not have as much mobility as the BVS suit.
Yeah.
So there were scenes where if he had to do something,
BVS
they
is
couldn't
like
wear the whole suit.
fabric stretched over armor, basically.
The BVS suit is like fucking. That's a great suit. That is like.
I like the tactical suit though.
I don't like the cowl on the tacticals. I don't like the cowl on the tactical suit, and I don't like the cowl on the Justice League suit in general, because he has like regular Justice League suit. You can kind of see it here. They made the ears. I didn't like how they were shaped.
Like he had really tiny ears.
They made no, the ears in the first one looked good. It was just they made them more like streamlined, and they almost look like an arrow.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to in BVS, they were rounded like perfect like bat ears. They were fun.
Just funny because bat ears are big and round. But
I know it is weird, but anyway, I definitely like the Christian Bale bat suit.
That looked perfect.
No, it didn't. The ears went forward, and I hated it.
They did. They were like,
I fucking hated it because like that's not how it works. That's not how no one draws Batman that way. And I know it's like not going to be a one translation, but they literally he had horns for ears as opposed to ears that went back. Like,
well, they're not even supposed to go back. They're supposed to be like that, not like that.
Yeah, but they're always they're always drawn in like the shape of an arrow. So they're always if they have any sort of dimension to them at all, they always go back a little bit rather than forward a little
like
bit.
Arkham Knight and all that. Like
they're just straight up,
fucking huge.
Yeah, like a lot of the times they just go straight up, and that's fine. I didn't like the forward thing. Like
I get that.
Overall, I liked the suit in both BVS and in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Although they are kind of generic, like especially like the Batman Begins one was just your old school classic black rubber suit that Batman has always.
Well, they showed it like he got that like nano suit or whatever, and then like painted.
Yeah, but that's not what it actually was. It was just
it was a big rubber suit,
and you could tell it was a big rubber suit.
Yeah,
like and like yeah, they gave it a story, but
Batman and The Dark Knight, he just looked like super tack.
Yeah,
just
and, like I liked that. It was fine. I liked the BVS suit a lot though because it had more like dimension to it. Like it was like you said, it was like armor. It was a cloth thing over armor. You could tell it like it was been used a lot. You know, it had like battle damage on it. It looked like a real fucking thing because one, it was a real thing. It wasn't a CGI thing. Neither was the Christian Bale's or anything. But just getting back to how much I hate the damn
Ben
Spider-Man
Affleck was a
suit.
brutal Batman too. Like he does not,
dude. That warehouse scene.
That's what I'm talking about.
Fucking day, man.
I watched that the other night too, and dude, he just like destroys these people.
That is the best on-screen Batman fight.
Oh yeah, and Alfred just like quickly drops him off. Like he'll drop you off on the second level.
Yeah, dude. Like it was also really good interplay between Alfred and him too, because like he takes over the drone and like pulls out the fucking thing, and he takes over the ship, and he's just like gets out and jumps in. Like, dude, best fucking scene, man.
That was a good scene.
That was like the best fucking scene.
I mean, it's brutal. He like crushes those.
And then when he goes in to take down KGB, he just comes through the fucking wall. And grabs the dude. Like, dude, best fucking scene, man. I love that scene so much. That's good. Like that's why I want to see that Batman fight Deathstroke, dude. Like that's why I want to see that. That scene. You throw Deathstroke in that scene, dude.
Well, what was it that we were talking about? The cut scene from Arkham something or other, where it's Batman versus Deathstroke in like the train yard.
Yeah, whatever.
That's brutal.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that was.
I want to see that fight.
I know it just looked real. Like that CG was better than like Justice League CG
in some cases. Yeah, for sure. Oh, but anyways, guys, that pretty much covers everything that came out, at least teaser wise, and Snyder making fun of that line, you know, and then the whole Warner Media investigating the allegations from Ray Fisher. So the more important thing, though, is that this full trailer for Snyder Cut comes out this weekend. It will be out by the time this video drops. So we'll definitely have some coverage of, you know, DC fandom and everything like that when the time comes. So question is, guys, what do you think about all this this Snyder Cut news? And then like Ben Affleck coming back again, Snyder Cut. We got the Snyder mocking Joss Whedon. We got Warner Media investigating these allegations. What do you guys think about it? Just let us know down in the comment section below. So our next topic today is still in the world. This has been pretty much we might as well rename the show just Batman News of the Week.
Right.
Because that's pretty much what this is. Like It's all Batfleck, Snyder Cut. It's just a DC super show leading up to fandom. Even though we do have other topics coming up, we're going to talk about Tenet review, and we got some Kraven the Hunter news, and we got a Ridley Scott movie with Lady Gaga. We have some news on, but for now, we got some more news on the Batman. Not to be confused with Ben Affleck. I know he is the Batman, but the Batman is Robert Pattinson right now.
Is he the Batman though?
Well, it's called the Batman.
I meant Ben Affleck though. Is he the
like,
Batman?
Ben Affleck he's my Batman. We'll say that.
Maybe, hashtag my Batman.
Yeah, maybe Robert Pattinson, if it comes out, maybe Robert Pattinson will be my Batman.
Yeah.
You never know.
I hope it's good.
I have to wait and see it. But Matt Reeves has now released the official logo for the film. So, Rick, I know you said you like how this looks. You like this.
I think it looks fucking sweet.
What do you like about
it? It just looks, I like the tone of it. I mean, like, it's rare that you see something like a logo and you can almost like understand the tone of the entire movie just from like the font and things like that. But it just has like this dark overtone to it. It just looks gritty, which I like.
Yeah, no, it really does. Like, it definitely has that vibe. It does. The coloring and everything, and then just like the shape, the bat itself. Because if you look,
that's the logo on his chest.
It is. Because that's what I was gonna say. If you look closely enough, like from a distance, it just looks like someone drew a bat.
Like, if you look closely,
but if you look closely, it actually does have all like the little gear stuff. And
throwing this in, I sincerely hope they don't do that thing where it's like it's the gun that was used to kill his parents. Yeah,
I don't like
why.
I feel like that. I know they did that in the comics. But like,
dude,
I think that's really cheesy.
It is. It's like I'm going to use my parents' murder weapon and like integrate it into my suit because that's how I roll.
I think it's really cheesy, honestly. Like, I don't like
in the
it.
Chest.
Like, I mean, I get it. It's like it's a symbol. Like,
I imagine it being like a weapon that he can take off or something.
That's what I assumed. Like when I first saw it, I was like, that was cool because like they do that for Robin a lot, and like even I think in Titans when Robin was wearing the Robin suit, he would push down on the Robin button, and those little like he could throw them.
Yeah,
it's practical. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was like when I first saw it, I was like, I hope that's like he could pull that out and use it.
It looks mechanical.
Exactly. Like he could just be like pop it out and like bam, he's got a fucking batarang. Like it's like a last case scenario batarang.
That's what I'm saying. Like something he can just chop somebody with.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping it was. So I will say though, I do agree with you mentioned like you get like a vibe of the tone of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I think the coloring and everything and the way like it does look like hand drawn and everything on here, it blends like a dark vibe. I get like a Long Halloween vibe.
That's what I'm saying. Like it looks like a comic book style. And even the little DC logo thrown in on the end, like I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But no, it definitely has that like long Halloween, like
right. And then with that, we got this this concept art drawn of Robert Pattinson as the Batman from Jim Lee himself. So, and I thought this looked really good too.
That looks awesome.
I still think like I know like the movie, it's through the pandemic and everything, they weren't able. They still have like 3 months of shooting. They still have 3 months of principal photography on this thing, if I remember correctly, which is a long time.
That's a while, yeah.
That's a lot of shooting that they still need to do. So I know we will. Because what I was gonna say was like, it's kind of a shame that this is like really the best look we've had of his suit.
It really is.
Like,
I mean, it looks good.
It looks good. Like I really like it. I like this cowl. Like honestly, this cowl looks
awesome.
This looks better than the one that he's wearing in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, because what we have seen of it is that leather cowl. This is not that leather cowl.
When we talked about before too, like maybe there's like a progression of the suit throughout the movie or whatever.
Yeah, which I hope I feel like there'd have to.
Because it looks almost like those in the pictures of him like riding the motorcycle and stuff. It looks like he's almost wearing like hockey pads. And
that was just the stunt suit.
That was my Batman.
The stunt suit, the suits that the stunt guys wear are they're not the same suits because they build some padding into it, make them out of lighter fabric.
But like even his shoulders and I don't know.
Because when I first saw like that teaser thing where he comes out and just moves his shoulders and shit, you know, and like
it's kind of like all red.
It reminded me of the Arkham Knight suit because it looked like modular like that. Like it had the shoulder pads and they had like straps on it. And they came up and they moved like independently and it like looked like armor and like. I got some Arkham Knight vibes because there's a scene in Arkham Knight where literally right at the beginning when you get the new suit airdrop to you, he puts the suit on and there's almost the exact scene of Robert Pattinson walking out in the frame like that, where you have the new suit on and it zooms in like on the chest and like you kind of move around and he starts moving and you see all the individual pieces of this chest piece actually flexing with his movements.
Yeah.
And it's like a really cool fucking like scene in the game. And that's the exact vibe I got from Pattinson's suit in that little clip. The only thing I've never really cared for is that leather cowl. Like I didn't really like the stitching. But
it doesn't seem protective. If it's just leather, like that doesn't make sense.
And which the leather is a valid armor type for some people.
But
like
you have to put something underneath
stuff,
it.
But
you have to put something underneath it. Like, does it have like a titanium like skeleton underneath it?
I mean, if the leather works for Green Arrow, it worked for Robin Hood, but that's my thing. It doesn't work for Batman. In my opinion.
No, I mean it's a little more hardcore.
I don't think it's my main issue is I don't think it's like too visually appealing in all honesty. But granted, I'm sure that cowl will evolve.
Well, the leather cowl looks like something he just sewed up in his basement.
Yeah, which I think is the vibe they're going for. Like it might be for pretty much the whole first movie. And I imagine like the second movie he'll have a more upgraded suit, or maybe
maybe at the end of the first,
like when he goes in to fight like Riddler at the end, like maybe he'll have a completely new suit, like in a lot of ways. I'm sure it'll stay, keep a lot of the visual aesthetic of this current suit, but like, I mean, shit though, like I said, if the cowl looked like this in the movie, I would have no complaints about
the suit.
Pissed. The thing is though too that's interesting is if I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while since I've looked at them, but those pictures of the stunt guy, he did not have the things on the gauntlets, the blades. He only had the little arrow thing.
I think you're right.
And Jim Lee drew him with the blades here.
That's a great picture. Like, Jim Lee's a great artist.
Oh yeah, this looks great. That's what I was saying. It's kind of a shame that this is the best look we have of the Batman.
It's like a comic book rendition.
Because I can almost guarantee they're going to be showing us we're going to see footage of the Batman at
for sure.
Fandom here.
There's your giveaway right there. It says Fandom.
Yeah, so I mean, come a couple of days. I mean, that Fandom event's going to be over by.
It'd be cool if they dropped a teaser or something like.
They will, dude. They're going to have some sort of footage.
Yeah,
they're gonna. I think it's a foregone conclusion they're going to have some sort of footage for that.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, it's one of their biggest movies coming out.
Yeah, and it does have the longest event. So like. That was one thing that I noticed. A lot of the Fandom panels are like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Or 15 minutes long.
They're pretty short.
And then like the Wonder Woman 84 one's 25 minutes long. But then the Black Adam one, for instance, a movie we've been waiting years for, I think was only like 10 minutes long.
With The Rock.
Yeah, with The Rock. And then it's like 10 minutes? Like that's
it's not very much time.
That's not enough time to do anything.
Well, you got to think though too, with the way that it's being done, with it not being in front of like a live audience, it's going to cut down a lot of like the questions and a lot of like the interaction. So they can probably just push right.
Well, the problem is though, a panel is that.
Yeah, so it's not really a panel if you're just like.
It's just like a press release, really.
It really is.
Like.
Because there's not going to be fans asking questions.
Yeah, and they did like just recently the other day, like news dropped that they were splitting Fandom into 2 events or 2 days, and then on the second day they do actually have like a fan Q&A for some of those panels. So
they can virtually do that.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing that was confusing to me. It's like all they have to do is get everybody to hop on a Zoom call and just take some fan questions and just do it for an hour, and that's it. That's a panel. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So
it's actually a lot easier than getting the people to go.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Like, literally, they can be anywhere. Henry Cavill could be outside in his hot tub. He could be sitting there playing World of Warcraft and just zoom him in, and he's just sitting there, just, yep. Sorry, I almost missed the call because I'm playing World of Warcraft. So,
right.
Just like, when he got the call to play Superman, he did miss the call because he was playing World of Warcraft.
That's why I don't play it.
You should play it. No, just wait. But kidding. You should play it. It can be a good.
You've been trying to get me to play World of Warcraft for like over a decade.
Well, it's a good thing you're not because it sucks right now.
Like I remember back in the day, like the Lich King and Vanilla and all that.
The good days.
The Pandemonium or whatever it was called.
Pandaria. Pandemonium.
I just remember there were pandas involved.
It was pandemonium because pandas are fucking lame, dude. Like,
That's what I thought. I was like, pandas? That's the best you can come up with?
well, the
Fucking
expansion
pandas?
was great. Like the Mist of Pandaria expansion is great, but the pandas are just fucking stupid.
They were like
there's
Oriental
no-
pandas, and
Yeah, they're yeah, that's exactly what it is. But great expansion, stupid race. Like,
why do they got to be
stupid.
Oriental? Like, never mind.
Who cares about that? Oh, not getting into that.
That's what I'm saying. That's a whole other
Let's
stuff.
sidestep that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this. What do you so you just want to see like footage, right?
I want to see some footage.
That's all you want to
Whether it's like just like a, what do they call it when it's not a trailer, but
see? Like a
it's
sizzle reel.
yeah. I mean, like
teaser or
anything
something?
to show us just some more of Robert Pattinson as Batman. Like outside of pictures and that little like teaser.
Or it's like I said, like I may have been last week or something. Like I'd be cool if just getting some more high res pictures of like everyone. Like
Well,
in
it's
full
gonna happen,
costume,
like we
you know?
talked about with the fucking Mountain Dew bottles having
Exactly.
Catwoman and Riddler and shit on it.
It's like that's already out there. So I mean,
Do those like
that'd be good.
Are they already like for sale? I don't think they are.
No, it was just like a leak of.
It's like
It was a marketing
Yeah.
picture, but very blurry.
very
Like,
blurry. It's
very
literally
blurry.
just silhouettes.
Yeah, but like they're there on them. There's Riddler's brew and whatever.
brew.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's hardcore.
but in the end, like I'm like 99% certain we're gonna actually get some footage.
Yeah, I mean,
Of
they're really
some-
gonna push it. I feel like.
Yeah, because I mean, like they have the longest panel there. They have a 30-minute panel, so like which is kind of interesting too, because it's like we were saying before. If Jeffrey Dean Morgan were to come back for Thomas Wayne's Batman in that Flash movie, right? Then we'd have 3 Batman in that movie, but then we still have Robert Pattinson being a 4th Batman potentially, and a completely disconnected thing, presumably. But 4 Batmen running amok potentially, guaranteed 3 at this point. That's more Batman than like dude. It's just so weird because like. For the longest time, Warner Brothers like wouldn't let CW use Deathstroke anymore because Ben was going to use Deathstroke in the movie. They didn't want fucking audiences seeing 2 different Deathstrokes on screen at the same time. It's confusing or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna we got the Flash on TV, we got the Flash on screen on the big screen. And then like literally they did a crossover event, so Ezra Miller went on the Flash TV show for a brief cameo. Now we're gonna have Batman on. Potentially on the Batwoman TV show for one, and then we're gonna have 2 Batmen in the Flash movie, maybe Thomas Wayne Batman, because you never fucking know at this point. But then we still have Robert Pattinson's Batman.
It's a lot of Batmans.
They're
Batman.
really pushing this Batman stuff, and we still don't have a fucking Nightwing. There's no Nightwing. There's no Batgirl. But by golly, you get 4 fucking Batmen potentially.
Batmen. Yeah, it's plural.
The Batmen. So
Bat
I
guys.
find that kind of interesting when you actually kind of break that down. Like it's really weird. And then now we have Superman on TV. Superman's getting his own TV show. Superman got his own TV show before they gave Henry Cavill his own goddamn Superman movie. What is this, dude? Now I'm getting upset. This was supposed to be a funny segment. Now I'm getting upset about it. I don't know, man. But yeah, in the end, I'm looking forward to this Batman thing. I want
sure.
to see Robert Pattinson as a Batman. I'm hoping, at the very least, if we don't get footage, which I almost guarantee we're going to get footage,
Oh, for
like
sure.
I said. But I'd totally be down with some high-res pictures of all the costumes. Maybe even fucking have everybody come out in the suit. This is all being done virtually. Robert Pattinson could be doing a fucking pre-recorded thing in the suit. So Zoe Kravitz. Like, who knows, man?
I don't see that. But
You
never knew.
You never know. Tom Hiddleston came out on stage at Comic-Con in full Loki garb and gave a speech to the fucking
Well,
crowd.
the guy from Rogue One came out. Yeah, like they've done that a lot.
Yeah. So it could happen. And this is all pre-recorded, so like
Director Krennic.
anything could have happened. Yeah.
He came out with like Death Troopers and stuff. And
Right. Like
that was kind of cool.
That's the thing. Everything's all like kind of with Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, I feel like anything's on the table at this point.
I will say, outside of the Batman thing, when Tom Hiddleston came out as Loki, like that's cool,
Dude, that was super cool.
I mean, it's like the guy in character in the suit, like that's
and he was literally like directly like had a monologue.
He was
prepared.
acting, like
like forever. Like, dude, that was great to watch virtually. because like I obviously wasn't there. I just watched it.
Could you imagine seeing it in person?
That's what I'm
though?
saying. Like
You would've
it
been
was
like-
great to watch happen on a YouTube video, but like, yeah, could you imagine being there for that? That would have been fucking
Like I
awesome,
saw
dude.
Loki in the flesh.
Yeah, like the dude came out, like gave us a speech. It was fucking
In
like, dude, that was
character.
great. Yeah, it was. That would have been.
Did he like stop the in character thing and be like, "By the way, I'm Tom Hiddleston"? Like,
No, I'm pretty sure he came out, did his thing, and then walked off stage. If I remember,
and like
correctly.
later came out as Tom Hiddleston.
I think so. I don't know. I
Pretty
can't
cool.
remember. It was years ago.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. Like
Yeah.
it was awesome. So we might get something like that again. You never know. Like maybe not with Loki again, but who knows? Maybe Robert Pattinson's Batman would. Maybe he wouldn't. He does. He'd only have to sit there and brood. He would.
I mean, really,
He would
that'd
have
be
to
awkward. Though he's just sitting there like,
or he could do the classic. I'm Batman.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm curious to hear like what's his voice going to sound like. Maybe we'll see that.
I hope it's either nothing or a voice modulator.
I'd be cool with them. Yeah, just talking normal. I mean, like if I was Batman, I'd probably talk a little more like this, but like that's it.
Yeah.
You want to sound like
I don't know.
stern.
If I was Batman, that would mean I would also be Bruce Wayne, and I would have a shit ton of money, and I would just have a voice modulator.
Yeah,
That would
it's
be
like Kylo Ren's helmet or something like that.
yeah. I mean, it'd be
it's
no
just-
different. Like that's because, like we said before, dude, the way Zach and Ben had Batman sound was absolutely perfect.
It was. It wasn't over the top.
Yeah, it
just
wasn't over
sounded
the
good.
top. It disguised his voice, and it was completely understandable, and it wasn't out of character. It wasn't weird.
He
Like-
just could speak normally, and he wasn't
Yeah.
talking like this.
Yeah, and like they could
Mm.
tone it up and down as they wanted to. Like if they wanted him to talk more normal, they could just not modulate like that dialogue, and like it was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this Batman, the Batman logo and the concept art drawn by Jim Lee himself? Are you excited for DC fandom coming out? Hopefully going to get some footage here. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we're both kind of on the same camp that that's more than likely probably a given. But at the very least, maybe we'll get some high-res pictures. Who knows? Whatever it is, guys, just let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys, so our next topic is going to bring us to some actual Tenet reviews. So Tenet has dropped in some places that are actually, where movie theaters are open right now. They released it a couple days early. Sorry. So we actually have some substantial reviews from some critics that have actually seen the movie now, because we did a piece last week that some IMAX representatives had actually seen it, and they all kind of praised the movie. But I kind of commented on this before during that video. A lot of these IMAX people, they work on the movies, because like Christopher Nolan has like a partnership with IMAX, uses IMAX cameras and like yada yada yada. So they're obviously not going to come out and badmouth the movie, like this, because they have some sort of relationship with Christopher Nolan to begin with. So like you just got to kind of take a lot of things like that with a grain of salt. So it just same goes for a lot of like critic reviews. You don't want to just take everybody's reviews by heart, and just like if someone says it's bad, doesn't necessarily mean you don't need to see it, because you might have a completely different opinion about it. But when it comes to these reviews, they're kind of interesting because it looks like a bit of a mixed bag. Some of the reviews, for instance, Rick, Jesus, sorry,
Is that COVID?
it's the COVID. No, it's just my throat's I got kind of a dry mouth.
Clear your damn throat.
But yeah, some of these reviews are mixed, which I found to actually be kind of shocking. Like, because there hasn't been a Christopher Nolan movie that I haven't liked. I've liked every single one. He's one of the best directors in the game. Like even like no one else could make a movie like Dunkirk. Like no one else can make that work, because it wasn't like a action war movie. There was no real plot to it. It was just like, here are events that occurred at the Battle of Dunkirk, and that was it. Like that,
Yeah.
it wasn't like
It's not time travel. It's not
it's just like it's almost like a documentary. Like it wasn't even like a movie
featuring Harry Styles.
and it was good. Like
Yeah.
only someone of the caliber of Christopher Nolan could really make a movie like that work.
Christopher Nolan's great. I'm
He's
just going to
great.
say that. Like, yeah, and I know you agree with me on that.
100%.
And,
I just watched Inception the other day, dude. Like,
any
I
of his
love the movie.
movies, he's totally different, I feel like, than any other filmmaker out there, really.
No, yeah, for sure. Like they're most of his movies are always like thought provoking. They have some
They have deeper meaning.
relatable. Yeah, like there's always something to it that like I don't know that at least I always gravitate to in some way. Like I said, because I have even the smaller ones like Memento and even like the Prestige, they're great, dude. And then Insomnia, which a lot of people really like Insomnia, and like, but a lot of people haven't seen Insomnia.
I haven't seen
Like,
it.
Insomnia had oh my god, I'm blanking on names right now. Robin Williams was in it. Hilary Swank was in it, and Al Pacino. Those three. It was like
What's the premise? Like they just can't sleep.
no. It's called Insomnia because it takes place in Alaska. So a lot of people when they move to Alaska, like because they have like longer days, like the sun's
Or
up
shorter
later,
days,
yeah,
yeah.
or whatever. So like people have a hard time adjusting to sleep, and like Al Pacino's character is a detective, and he has issues like just sleeping there. But he's just a detective going on a case. There's like a mystery. It's like a murder. It's a
It
thriller
disrupts the
kind of mystery movie.
circadian rhythm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's good. It's a good movie. It's not one of my favorites of his. Like I like Memento more. I like Prestige more. I don't know. Yeah, I like it more than I liked Interstellar. For Interstellar,
Dude, Interstellar is a work of art.
nah, dude, I didn't care for that.
We saw that together in theaters for the first time, and I thought it was incredible. I still watch that.
I didn't care for it.
I just love the idea of black holes. Or whatever.
No, I love all that shit. I'm all about space and space time, dude. You
Yeah,
know
like
that,
the
dude.
distortion of space time and wormholes.
I am all about that.
Man, I want to watch Interstellar. Like, I might do that when I get home.
It's like bottom tier Christopher Nolan is Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar, and then Insomnia for me.
Do not agree on that, but
well, that's just how I see it.
well, you're being honest.
All film is subjective, my friend.
It's true.
But like, I think his best movie is like probably Inception or The Dark Knight.
I liked Matthew McConaughey.
Like, I mean, no, everyone's great in the movie, and I like the movie. It's just my least favorite of his movie. You got to think if you have to make a best to worst Christopher Nolan movie, his worst is still far superior than most people. You know what I mean? So, if like The Dark Knight Rises, for instance, it's still a good movie. It's still a competently made movie to some degree, and it's far better
production
than a
value's
lot of
great.
other movies. Yeah, and so it's like for The Dark Knight Rises to be your worst movie, you have a pretty good fucking career.
Yeah,
Like if that is your worst movie, so I mean, you could do
visually it was stunning.
you could do a hell of a lot worse. There's just that movie's just like the story and is kind of
that's the only part that's not good about it is the story. The visuals are great.
Yeah, everything else was like it was competently made.
That's
it was good. Like
come to be expected though with a Christopher Nolan movie.
Exactly, which is what these kind of because that's the thing. Like because from everything we knew of Tenet, it was another kind of like high concept, sci-fi-esque, Christopher Nolan piece in the vein of Inception. It was almost like Inception and Interstellar, like kind of made a baby. It's kind of like what because it has like the time travel element to it, right? With it, like you're going back and forward in time in some capacity, like. Time is like
Christopher Nolan's all about time.
Yeah, great song from Inception, by the way.
Fantastic.
Hans Zimmer, like
makes for a great commute to work in the.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. But that's what's kind of shocking about these reviews. So a lot of them, though, just to sum some of them up, they're like some people are saying that it's very convoluted and hard to follow. For some of the takes that got from it, like negative wise. They throw a lot of just like exposition and dialogue at you that can be kind of confusing. Like some people commented that you can't it's not a movie that if you're seeing it in theaters, for instance, that you like hopefully you don't have to get up and use the bathroom because you're not going to want to miss anything. And then like on the other hand, like people also said it's a great blend of like James Bond meets a sci-fi flick, and it's like a perfect way to get back, go back to the movies kind of thing. Kind of like, we were saying, like, of all the movies we could finally go back to theaters to see, it would probably be Tenet. Like,
that'd be the one I'm most excited to see.
Exactly. So there's a lot of people who are saying it's great and blah, blah. But then there's still like a surprising number of people who just, I don't know if they're giving it like a 0 out of 5 stars, but they're
not too happy.
The reviews aren't always. They're not all great like we kind of anticipated them to be. So, what do you think about that, Rick? Has that got you weary about the movie?
Not really. People have their opinions. Like you said, cinema is subjective to the watcher, the viewer. I think it looks great. And I think what it comes down to with Christopher Nolan movies and kind of like with Inception as well is that I just don't think some people understand. And to them, When you don't understand something, you don't like it. And that's kind of where I get that idea. They didn't understand the movie, therefore it's not good. And I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be good. So
Right. Well, that's the thing too. Like, because it's one thing if someone were to, because I will say it's one thing if someone were to say I didn't like it, because if you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you want to say that I didn't understand it, so I don't like it, that is kind of problematic. Because it's perfectly fine if you see it and you don't like it, you know what I mean? But like, if you were to, like, for instance, if you were to see it, I'm not just going to assume that you didn't understand it and that's why you didn't
yeah.
like it. You know what I mean? Because like, no, it's like I just don't like it, dude. Like I get it. But like I don't have to like not get like no, I get it. I just didn't like it because that's acceptable.
Well, I think
Like,
I'm drawn into that whole like time bending craziness that like Christopher Nolan's kind of been known for. And to me, like that's cool, but to other people, they may not like that. So
right. Yeah, because I know. I definitely that it's there's a small majority of people out there who probably would, which is perfectly reasonable, I guess so too. Because it is you got to think at some degree, it is up to the filmmaker to make your movie understandable. And if
yeah,
someone doesn't understand the movie as they're watching it, I'm not going to blame necessarily the viewer in that situation. There's a good chance that because like you said, if it is confusing or high concept and it is hard to follow, you might appreciate that and find that to be enjoyable and maybe, you want to go back and watch it more times to better understand it. But maybe your mom doesn't want that.
no, I mean a
Like
lot of people just like simple movies.
yeah, like what I mean, if it because at some point it is up to the filmmaker to make a competent movie.
Sure.
Like it shouldn't take I shouldn't have to watch a movie 3 times to get it. You know what I mean? Like you want to watch a movie 3 times to
Maybe
get
twice.
more out of it. I
Yeah.
don't want to watch a movie because the information wasn't portrayed to me in a way that was understandable. Like
Yeah,
that's
that makes
annoying.
sense.
You know what I mean? I want to be because when I first watched Inception, I understood everything that was happening, even
It's
if I
kind of a
had to
mind
go
fuck the
take a
first
piss
time
break.
around.
Like it's just I get that. It wasn't hard to follow. It was high concept to some degree, and I totally got it. Same with Interstellar. Like it's all fine. Like I get it. It's like with Interstellar. Like I get it, dude. I just don't like it that much. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like I totally understand it. I know a lot about the fucking space time continuum. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
it's all good and not in a not a quantum physicist by any means, but like I totally kind of like Black Widow. I read it for conversation, right? Like I read about it for conversation. He makes that comment in Endgame if you don't remember. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But I don't know. I'm just more bummed out that I don't know because maybe it is too. Like I feel like the movie has a lot going against it right now, though, too, because it was this first movie out of the gate. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? During our
People are
current
gonna be a
time,
little extra judgmental.
maybe they're being a little extra critical on it. Like maybe. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know. But some of these some of these headlines for like this is on Deadline. Like some of them are just like literally. I would have never thought like a headline reading like stunning time travel thriller or a palindromic dud.
That's pretty
I would
intense.
have never thought someone would be referring to a Christopher Nolan film.
As a palindromic dud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I would have never thought that. So like that's the kind of thing where like because this isn't some random news site. Like this is Deadline. Like it's
Yeah.
like this is like a well-established
It's
news
a good
media.
source.
Yeah, it's a good reliable source, and their critic is saying like, is it a palindromic dud? Like, and then
That wording is pretty
well,
intense.
there's another one where like this is also on Deadline, the different reviewer. So this is the first article is from Tom Grader. This other one is from Anna Smith. Literally says, Tenet review: James Bond types are thrown into a confounding sci-fi plot in a Christopher Nolan film you can miss. So like
That's pretty intense.
this chick is literally saying, skip the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? In a nutshell, that's what her headline is saying. Like, you can just skip the
I
movie.
don't think I'm gonna skip it.
No.
I mean,
And I mean, she goes on to like better explain the movie and what she's talking about in the full article. Don't just read headlines, kids.
yeah.
Go through and read articles. It's called clickbait for a reason. Like that the reason is a shitty headline or a catchy headline. Read the whole review. Okay. If you want to don't judge it just by that.
I like the first paragraph of that review. Like, does your head hurt yet?
Yeah, right. Like, but no, like in this I read through like Anna's review here, and like everything she said makes sense. Like it's and like to your point, like I get what the movie is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so, and like she gets what the movie is too, obviously, and she didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, it's film is subjective. You know, some people just like you said. I think you said it better. Where like you just like that kind of stuff. Like you like things that make you think and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
you like that. I like that. I'm not gonna say that someone didn't understand it and like that's why you don't like it. But if someone wants to say, "Well, I just didn't get it, so I didn't really like it," that's not a really good reason to not like it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you know, because if you're admitting you don't get it, I don't think that's a good enough reason to dislike it. I think you should just end it with, "Well, I didn't really get it." You know, I don't think you have the merit to say you don't like it then, because it's like maybe if you understood it, you would appreciate it.
Sure.
You know
Well,
what I
that's a
mean?
reason I feel like a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I'm
it.
saying.
So maybe, but at the same time, it's up to the filmmaker to make your movie both understandable and likable. You know what I mean?
Sure.
To some capacity. I
Yeah.
mean, to really every capacity. Because by no means was Christopher Nolan going out here just saying like, "I want to make the most confusing fucking movie, and I don't want anybody to like it." Like,
Wow.
that's not Christopher Nolan's fucking British. I don't know why. I was
Yeah.
saying
Why
that.
would he talk like
I don't know
this?
why, but yeah, obviously Christopher Nolan is trying to make a good movie, probably more than a lot of people are trying. Everyone was trying to make a good movie, but I'm sure
Well, yeah.
of all
He's
people,
trying to make a good
yeah,
movie.
Christopher Nolan, I can guarantee you, is trying to make a good movie. So I'm hoping that, like you said, maybe because there was I don't remember if it was Anna or another article I was reading that said like or another review rather was saying that like it's the kind of movie that, like, Christopher Nolan fans would wanna go back and see multiple times to pick up, like, on a bunch of, like, things they missed and details and help them better understand the movie. So, that kinda leans, like, more to, like, what you're saying to where, like, maybe it's just one of those movies that, like, Christopher Nolan is asking of you to, like maybe he intentionally did make it just convoluted and confusing as fuck for you to not
Well, and
understand.
maybe these people that are giving the bad reviews, were they to go back and watch it a second time, they'd be like, "Well, that's not so bad." But
Maybe, but I'm always on the camp where, dude, like I shouldn't need to watch it multiple times to like it.
no, I agree. I
Because I
agree.
mean that's the thing. Like I gave Iron Man 3 that same opportunity. I gave it I gave it years in between viewings.
The movie sucked.
I know. I tried. I gave it the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, it was like maybe I was in a bad mood. Maybe this, maybe
Maybe I was
that.
in a bad
Like
mood.
I watched it again. I watched it years later, and I every time I watch it, I dislike it more.
The whole like Ben Kingsley, yeah.
I do.
I was watching that in the theater, and I was
Dude.
like,
Trevor aside, okay? Trevor aside, because I actually liked him in the movie.
Ben Kingsley's a great actor.
Ben
He's
Kingsley's fucking awesome.
yeah,
I liked that. Just what they did with Extremis fucking sucked. What they did with Pepper fucking sucked. What they did was also kind of Extremis. And like, dude, it just
all the different Iron Man suits showing up.
yeah, that was cheesy as shit. And then not to mention the continuity with it. Like at the end of Iron Man 3, he blows up everything. And like he's done being Iron Man. But then he's just Tony Stark's just back in the next Avengers movie.
Yeah,
Like Iron Man 3 never happened. You know what I mean? It just well, that didn't make much sense. Like,
no.
like just kind of okay. Like so that's kind of annoying too.
Well,
Like,
Iron Man 3, was that post Avengers or?
yeah, I think it came out.
Yeah, because he was all messed up about like the battle in
Yeah.
New York and all that.
He had like the PTSD thing, which
Yeah,
was
just like
that
the
thing.
summary.
That was a cool take on it.
Yeah,
But then at the end of it, he blows the goddamn everything up, and then he's just, I'm back for Age of Ultron, though, guys. Like,
yeah, they don't even
they
explain
don't
why
even
he's back.
explain it. Yeah, he's just back, and he's just—it's like he was never gone. Yeah. Just like it would be playing. For
Exactly.
yeah, but yeah. But when it comes to Tenet, I'm not gonna, like I said before, kind of at the top of this, before we got into it, I'm not gonna let these reviews like stray me from seeing the movie by any means. COVID's gonna stray me from seeing the movie far before
Sure.
these fucking reviews do by any means. Because like, whenever there's a movie like this, especially a Christopher Nolan movie, like I gotta see it myself, and you should have to see it yourself too. You don't listen to even if this would have bombed. Okay, the only thing that would have made me not see it if 200 critics reviewed this and they all gave it 0, so this thing's sitting 0% rotten right now. It has the worst reviewed movie trophy on Rotten Tomatoes. I'd still be watching this movie. If
Sure.
not out of sheer morbid curiosity, like, I'd still be watching it because, like, for movies like this that did pique my interest, I like to watch them regardless of the reviews for it, because like, you never know that you might like it. You know what I mean? Should never just listen to reviews, like, wholeheartedly. And if you're watching reviews or reading reviews, I kind of said this before, I think too. Like, you should not be looking at reviewers and things like that who just share your own opinion. That's fucking boring. Like, you don't need gratification. Like, you don't need to listen to people that you just blatantly, blindly follow and agree with, because then you're not really challenging yourself at that point.
No.
You're not growing it with anything like that. It's better to see these reviews, see where this, Anna from Deadline is coming from, and
Fucking
then go
Anna.
and watch the movie, and then then you can better understand her points and like where she was coming from. And then maybe it'll help, like, knowing her points while you're watching the movie, maybe it'll better help you, one, understand the movie, but two, understand, where she's coming from and
Yeah.
understand why she would have those gripes, and then, but maybe her gripes will hit you in a completely different way and you could appreciate those things. Just like Rick really likes Interstellar. I don't. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same movie.
Fucking
The only
crazy.
thing that's different are the people. You know what I mean? And maybe
I think maybe it was Matthew McConaughey.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
This whole thing's a centrifuge.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
And he's good in that movie.
Centrifuge.
I just didn't like dude, it was just the story. Because I like the time travel, or not the time, well, kind of. I like the space stuff. I just didn't like the ending.
The scene where they're on the water planet and they go back up to their station and the dude's been on there for 27 years.
Yeah, like, that shit's cool.
Imagine that shit.
Shit's fucking cool, dude. And then, like, the surprise
like,
cameo
older.
by Matt Damon, like, this shit's
He was
cool.
a dick in that movie, though.
He wasn't. But
Fuck Matt Damon.
and then like I like the end where Catwoman, whatever
Anne Hathaway.
like, I like, her being stuck there or whatever, and they're trying to do their thing.
Well, she like started her own civilization, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I liked all that stuff. I should probably rewatch the movie again. I haven't seen it in years. I just didn't like the bookcase thing, in all honesty.
Yeah, that was a little weird, but
That's when I was like, I liked everything
shrug
up
that
until
off.
this, and you just didn't bring it home for me, dude. You didn't bring it home.
well, then he comes back out of the wormhole by Saturn after the whole what was it, the Tesseract or whatever he was in. Is that what they called it? I think they literally called it that.
I don't think it was a test.
It was something like that, and he comes back and like his daughter's older and civilization is completely changed. They're off of Earth and they're living in like this giant space station. Like, I thought that was cool,
No, it is cool.
but
I just didn't like the bookcase.
no, it was kind of weird. Like the whole like Morse code and.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it again though. I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen it since it came out.
That was when we saw it. I've watched it like 10 times since then.
I think I've maybe watched it one time.
The whole like visuals of seeing him fly into a black hole and what they perceive
Well,
that as being,
cool.
like, that was cool as shit.
No, it was cool. And Christopher Nolan worked with like quantum physicists, I think, or like some form of like space scientist people,
to like have a correct
like,
visual representation.
Yeah, to literally graph how like they would perceive a black hole, like bending light and everything. So like what you were actually seeing, I'll give props for this. What you're actually seeing in Interstellar when you see that black hole, the event horizon, that is at the time the most accurate depiction of what a black hole would look like in reality. Like,
well,
that
actually,
that is what it is.
If you remember too, they actually had like the first photo of a black hole come out. It looks like the black hole in Interstellar. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a very blurry image, like the actual photo of it, but like they ain't wrong, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
no, exactly. So I give total props for that. Like,
there's a whole thing though about like if you go into a black hole though, no, we're not getting into physics, but
yeah, right. But anyway, the main thing was Tenet. These Tenet reviews, I'm not gonna let them sway me. You gonna let them sway you at all, Rick?
No.
Yeah, hell no.
Hell no.
I'm gonna see Tenet. I don't know when, but I'm gonna see it probably as soon as I can safely. Would you go to the theater to see it right now? Like if theaters were open like tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, I take a pretty big risk every day going to work, but I don't know.
True.
I mean, I take a really big risk every day going to work. But
well, that's the thing. Like, is it would depend on. It would depend on how they're doing things, because I feel like at a theater, if
they're going to have distance between the seats,
if they have distance between the seats, and you're wearing a mask unless you're eating, and as long as if they're taking everyone's temperature before they go into the theater,
Well, of course, they're going to have all these idiots out there too. They're like, I don't need no mask.
And they're not going to get into the movie.
No.
Like it's just not going to happen. That's like I know somebody who
That's a
was
personal
like you have these people too. Who's like I know someone who was who had to take a flight, and they I'm not friends with this person. I just know them, and but they had to take a flight somewhere, and you're allowed to take your mask off if you're eating or drinking. So they said what they did was just ate very slow and drank very slow, so they didn't have to wear the mask. I know. I'm just like
they had that guy that apparently killed Osama bin Laden. He posted a picture of himself on a jet, like no mask, and Delta literally banned him for life.
Yeah.
Sucker.
Yeah, it's like
I'm going to get some flack for saying that. I don't care.
Well, that's the thing too. It just bothers me. It's like, you know what, dude? My 5-year-old daughter can walk around wearing a mask for just as long as you're in the grocery store. So if she can handle it,
the whole thing's
pretty sure
stupid.
You can handle it, big guy. Like
you're making a dude. You are so cool making your point. Like
we totally respect.
Don't tread on me.
That's the thing too. It's like I don't really know what the point is to it. Like, are we supposed to respect it more that you're causing like a scene and trying to like do that kind of shit? Like, because I respect you less when you can't like do something like that because all it does is
kids is like I don't want to do it.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
I'm
gonna clean my room.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna clean my room.
I don't want to be told what to do. You know, every other country in the entire world got over it because they all just did it. And never mind, this is stupid.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. It's H&U politics, and it's just us bitching. That's literally all it would be.
We get so much hate too, probably, but if we haven't already.
My thing is too, I don't give a shit if you don't believe in it. Like, if you want to be an idiot and not believe in it, that's fine. Being an idiot and not believing it, do it. And I'll call you an idiot for it, but like, do it. That's fine. But just wear the mask if you have to. Like, if you have to go into a store and they're requiring you to wear a mask, just wear a mask. Who cares?
Like, people are, and then they freak out because they're like, you're telling me I can't come in, don't tread on me. And it's like, they're doing their fucking job.
Yeah. It's
a government mandate. Just follow the fucking rules.
Everybody's literally.
You support blue lives till the end, but you can't follow the law. Sorry. That's how I look at it. It's just like blue lives matter. You know, support the police, but I'm not going to do what they say.
Yeah, well, it's you support them until you're the one in trouble. It's like I read someone said that like one of the biggest problems with like a lot of like this is like political as fuck. So I'm sorry, everybody. It was just a funny.
Here we go.
It was a funny meme. But it was like, you know, America has a problem with like most Americans have a problem with like socialized healthcare and like things like that because then just, you know, any form of like paying more taxes essentially to make, you know, things more available for everybody, right? They have a problem with that and like taxing the rich because people right now in the middle class, they don't see themselves as being in the middle class. They see themselves as not being a millionaire yet.
Yeah.
So then, like, that's literally a mindset that like most people have. They don't want to like.
Sounds like everybody I used to work with.
Yeah, they don't want to like. They don't think it's good to do that kind of stuff to the upper class because one day they're
going to be there.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'll be there one day, and it's like
you will never be the 1%.
That's a terrible mindset to have, and yeah, like you'll never be the 1%. It's not gonna.
Even if you've got a great paying job or this or that, you'll never be the 1%.
If you're not in the 1% right now, you're not gonna be. That's
and even if you think you are, you're definitely
it's not gonna be like. And then if you are in the 1%, when you actually were to look at it, what like actually people are asking as far as like taxes go, you wouldn't even fucking notice.
God, I can smell the dislikes.
Dude, I'm not saying I support it. I just thought it was a funny meme because it's totally true.
No, it's 100%
I've been there before where I'm just like, I'll be rich one day. Like, you know, it's like one day. Maybe one day I'll have that Lamborghini, you know, whatever. Like I wouldn't buy a Lamborghini.
Sipping on Cristal.
But you have that mindset of just like you're not poor, you're just not rich yet. You know what I mean? Like
so that counts for them. Like
like that's I'm guilty of having that mindset because I am not political in any way. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm agnostic as fuck.
I don't like any of the shit.
I don't like it at all. I don't like politics. I support science before I support anything else.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of this stuff bothers me because
it's scientific. It's not science.
It's not a political issue.
It's not a political thing. It's not left or right. It's just the right thing to do.
Basic science.
And that's why the United States has such a horrible control of it all because we've got all these. Never mind.
It's not political. We're just talking about
Oh
World
man.
War III and Tenet. Because that's what Tenet's about. It's about World War III, preventing World War III. That's all we're talking about right now, dude. So what do you guys think? You guys excited for Tenet? Because despite the reviews, because I tell you what, I'm still gonna go see Tenet as soon as I can. I don't know about going to the theater right now, though. That's the only thing that's got me on the cusp about going to the theaters. That's it. It's the whole pandemic thing. So, but whatever it is, guys, what do you guys think about the reviews? You just let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So our penultimate topic here is going to be our first journey out of the DC connected universe in some capacity, because we talked Snyder Cut, we talked Batfleck, we talked the Batman, then we talked Christopher Nolan's Tenet, who directed Batman in some capacity. So this one is a step out of that into the world of the Spider-Verse. We have some breaking news to some degree. Not really breaking news. It was from yesterday, but it was breaking news to me when I saw it, and now I get a chance to talk about it. Breaking news for the show. So it's not really breaking news. It's just news. We have got some news involving the Kraven the Hunter movie, Rick. And there have been some talks a while back that the Sony was developing a solo Kraven the Hunter movie. No one really attached to it. They had someone come in. I forget who it was, but they had someone coming in to pen a script for it, and it's kind of all the information we had. That is like, well, someone was writing a treatment for a Kraven movie, and that was kind of all we had. And now it looks like Sony is eyeing the director of Triple Frontier, which ironically was a Netflix movie that starred Ben Affleck. It had Oscar Isaac. It had, God, I forget who else was in it, but it was a pretty star-studded cast. I think who was in there? Was Casey Affleck in that movie too? I can't remember. There was a lot of people in that movie. It was a pretty decent movie. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good. Like I enjoyed it enough. It was fine. But I thought the directing job was fine, and I could see how the way that movie was filmed, as far as direction goes, I could see him directing a Kraven movie be a pretty good fit. But the question is too. Well, not really a question. Before I throw it to you, because I was going to just kind of get your thoughts on just a Kraven movie in general, because we haven't really talked too much about that in the past. So obviously, Sony has been working on the Venom sequel with Carnage, which they're saying is called Venom. Let there be carnage, and then Morbius, which actually looked a lot better, just judging by the trailers. You saw the Morbius trailers, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a chance to talk about that? I think we talked about that. I
Yeah.
can't remember. That looked really good, surprisingly good, like better than I would have thought it would be. And then it seems like they're kind of connecting the MCU in with it in some way.
I don't really care for Jared Leto. I'm just going to throw it out there, but
I like Jared Leto though. He's fine. Why don't you like Jared Leto? You don't like Oscar winners? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Just an
opinion. It's the wrong opinion, Rick.
I got some words on the Kraven stuff.
Are you just gonna say you don't like his Joker and that's why you don't like him? Is that really what it is?
No, I could care less about his
You don't
Joker.
like 30 Seconds to Mars?
He's just a weirdo.
You don't like American Psycho?
American Psycho was good, but he died in that movie.
Or did he? Or did he?
Yeah, that's a good question. You got hacked to pieces, or did he?
Or did he?
My question for you, let me just throw it out there.
Okay.
Who do you think would be a good Kraven? I've already got one person in my mind who I think would be a good one, but who would you say? Like if you were the director choosing cast members, like who would you?
I don't know. Give me a second. I can try to think.
Do you want me to give you mine?
Give me yours.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He looks like him. He sounds like him. I think he'd be great.
He actually could pull that off.
I think he'd be perfect.
I think
if he got really jacked.
The problem is though, he's not jacked right now. No. He is actually incredibly skinny right now.
You know what'd be good too if he got jacked again was Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler just has this whole kind of persona around him. He's doing all these B movies.
Yeah. Outside of like 300, he's not great.
Yeah, like every movie he's been in since 300. Like, I mean, he did like Geostorm. Like, I mean,
what? That's like, then I don't even know what that is.
Those angel movies, like, London Has Fallen and whatever. Like, he did those, like this B movie stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not good movies.
He's been in, or kind of, they've been like these, like almost throwback 80s and 90s action movies.
You know what would have been great in his Gladiator days is Russell Crowe.
Oh yeah, Russell Crowe looks like Santa Claus right now. Those he could
Yeah, I was gonna say right
But
right now. No.
Russell Crowe would be great. He's
If it was like the
he's
Gladiator
he's
days,
an amazing actor. So
Yeah.
yeah, he could do anything.
he was in good shape then. He looks like him with the mustache and
If
facial
Jeffrey
hair.
Dean Morgan could get even as close to as big as he was as the comedian, and even
He was
in
pretty
that,
big in
if,
that role.
well, no, if you, I don't know if you know this, but they had to put a muscle suit on him in that movie. You know, like that wasn't really him. He literally wore a fake muscle.
I was gonna say he looked pretty jacked.
Yeah,
in
he
that
was
movie.
pretty fucking jacked in that movie, and it was because it was all fake.
I think of that
Like,
scene where
he
he's like
couldn't get big
lighting
in
the cigar with the flamethrower, and
Yeah.
it's just like, dude's yoked. But
Yeah, it was all a fake rubber muscle suit.
Well, never
It
mind.
looked really good.
well, if he could
Right.
get big, which it's not that difficult, especially if you're an A-list Hollywood actor.
But it's more of an age thing at this point. Like, and dude, I literally just watched him in a movie he did recently. He is like almost
J.K. Simmons.
he is incredibly skinny. I'm just
Yes.
telling you. I don't think Jeffrey Dean Morgan wants to get big. I don't think he wants to get yoked. But you never know.
Sucks for him.
I think it's true. You should want to get yoked.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Sorry.
Bicep check. That's our pre-show. Every time before the camera rolls, we do bicep checks.
You'll see it one day
Yeah, one day. Fitness Fridays.
coming up.
Yeah. I don't know though, dude. In all honesty, like,
Yeah,
it's
it could be
hard to
anybody.
say who, because it's like as long as it's a good actor, I don't care. Because everybody you just mentioned is a good actor.
He's got to be big though. Like Craven's a buff ass.
That's
dude.
the caveat with it, is like that role does kind of come with like some sort of physical aspect to it.
Any superhero role, really, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean most of them. For
Most
sure.
of 'em, yeah.
Like, but like yeah, Craven he's naturally a big hunter dude.
I think of when I think of Craven, I think of like the old Spider-Man cartoon and where he wore that like furry vest with like the eyes on it or whatever it was.
Yeah, because I mean, hold on, let me try to pull up a good picture of Craven. Well, like,
To like
because
show.
here's the thing too. Because what do you think? Because they were initially going to do like this solo movie, right? And like, but a lot of people thought, and like, this is what I initially thought, and then a lot of other people thought too would be cool. I wasn't the only one in the boat here. I may have been the first penguin in the water. I'm not sure.
It's the first time.
but like this dude, I thought it'd be really cool if instead of like to introduce Craven, since this was before Morbius and we saw the connection between like them throwing Spider-Man into Morbius with like the mural on the wall, and then Michael Keaton's Vulture was in the trailer for Morbius, and this was all before we knew anything about like.
Is that Michael Keaton's Vulture?
Yeah, he's wearing the same costume he wore at the end of Homecoming in prison. So like that's literally like they are tying in the MCU with that Morbius movie in some capacity, which means they're tying in like the Venom Sony verse in the MCU in some capacity. It may be limited to Spider-Man related characters, which I think would make the most sense. So that would obviously mean Vulture. Sony can do it, which I think is probably why Sony and Disney could not come to a deal. And like I said, like Disney would not sign with Sony. Like they broke the deal between them. So like briefly for a month, Spider-Man was out of the MCU because Disney and Sony couldn't come to an agreement to renew their contract.
So stupid.
Everybody wanted to blame Sony, but it wasn't Sony's fault. Disney backed out. They didn't want to do it.
That's just a big.
But I can guarantee you the reason. I bet one of the big things Sony wanted was to be able to use the characters that they're using in those movies.
Yeah.
Like maybe if it's not Spider-Man himself, maybe they want to do Sinister Six at some point, and they want to be able to use Vulture. Like if they're going to do another, because they're doing their plans were to do another MCU Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homesick is I would think what they're thinking the title is going to be for the third one, which is fucking dumb in all honesty. But
I thought Homecoming was dumb.
Homecoming was a dumb title. Far From Home was a dumb fucking title.
Home.
So we get it, dude. Spider-Man's home. Like it was.
Yeah.
Homecoming was. End it with that one. It would have been fine.
The movie's good, but yeah.
No, the movie's great. I just saw it on. It was on when we were at Lake Hope a little bit ago. It was like we had like 3 channels there on the TV, and it was on at night. So then like they played Amazing Spider-Man 2 into Spider-Man Homecoming. Weird double feature because it's like so different.
Andrew Garfield
but you know what I will say? Andrew Garfield didn't have a CGI suit.
Andrew Garfield I thought he was great.
That Spider-Man 2 costume I told you before, minus them not having the fucking badass animated eyes. That's Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit was our first comic book accurate Spider-Man suit that we had because it was the first one where he had the big eye.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Like
they were
he had
big.
the big old eyes, which is the most because like fucking Tobey Maguire's were like little sunglasses, and then Andrew Garfield's in the first movie.
He had like
literally
little
wore
orange
sunglasses.
lenses.
Yeah, and they wore sunglasses. They show him make the suit, and they were just sunglasses. Like it looked fine, and since he made it himself, it was fine. But that suit from Amazing Spider-Man,
He's crafty.
dude,
Peter Parker.
it was good. But anyway, my question to you is because what I initially thought would have been a cool idea, like I said, this was prior to any involvement of Spider-Man being in this like connected to Venom or Morbius or anything like that. I thought it would have been cool for them to have Kraven instead of hunting Spider-Man, he's hunting Venom.
That would make sense.
Because at the time when I thought about this, they didn't have like it was separated. Like MCU had Spider-Man at the time, and all Sony had was Venom. And we knew they were making Morbius, but there was no footage or anything like that out at the time. And I thought, you know what? Because reports came out that someone was writing a Kraven script, and I was like, damn, dude, it'd be really cool if he decided to hunt Venom.
Yeah.
Like because like Spider-Man's not there right now, but like use what you have, right? And
well,
like,
that would make sense.
No, that's what I'm saying. It really makes sense because
Venom's exotic, and
he's a big game hunter essentially. You know what I mean? So like, I thought like because he's Kraven's a big dude. This might be kind of cool too. Joel Kinnaman, he's a big dude. He would look good. He would look good as Kraven. I just don't know if they want to go like the actual like hold to the ethnicity. If they want to be more accurate with that, then obviously someone
what
like Joel
ethnicity
Kinnaman
is he?
I don't know.
I always thought of him
But
as like an English guy. Click on that picture.
I am. Look,
There's Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Did you see this picture or something?
Gerard? No. No. Honestly, though, the guy from Mad Men up top there, what's his name?
John Hamm.
Yeah, like he's too nice. The second guy down,
Luke Evans would be good.
Yeah,
Luke Evans would be real good. He's a fucking great actor.
Yeah,
he's yoked as fuck too. Dude, look at this.
Joe Hall, that would be great. Sorry.
You know, if he, maybe I'm just biased because I want him to be Deathstroke.
He's jacked.
Like I want him. That's what I want.
That's sweet. Yeah.
That's what I want. So I mean, yeah, he could definitely pull Kraven off, and he would still have. I don't know what
Jeffrey Dean Morgan just looks like him in the face. Look at that other picture they got down there. They got like a fake, like I guess like a fan art Joe Main.
Yeah, look at
that. Dude's jacked.
He's big, dude, for sure. Here we go. Our boy can do it all. He can be in the MCU.
His belly button looks weird there.
He does. That's Photoshop as fuck, obviously.
Yeah.
Like they tried to like move him. That looks weird.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I mean, like I said, any good actor I'm down with, but like a lot of those people would be good that we just saw. I think Luke Evans would actually be super cool.
Look at that. Rumor suggests. Look what they got. They got Eric Killmonger.
This has gotta be old.
Oh, he could be from Wakanda.
I remember reading that, saying that he could be from Wakanda or something. I remember seeing an article about that.
Okay. That's not, yeah, I get that.
I don't buy that news, though. When was this from? Yeah, this was from 2019. That was from a while ago. So that's what I'm saying. They've been working on this Kraven idea thing. They've had it spitting around for a while. So, I mean, but look at this. This would be cool, dude. Like, I'd love to see Kraven hunting Tom Hardy's Venom.
I think Tom Hardy would kick his ass, but
I don't want to. No, I'm just not going to look at your site. You do this, people. You do this. This is what happens. I don't go to your site.
Yeah, right.
That's what happens.
Everybody's got to.
You lose clicks, dude. You lose them. Find another way to do your ads. That's a terrible way to do your ads. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like, right. Sorry, I'm not looking at your website.
Like, I don't give a shit. I'll find it somewhere else. Don't worry about it, dude. You lost a viewer.
A picture of him right there. You just had your mouse on.
Which one? This one.
Over to.
So yeah, I mean, like any good actor would be fine. But I honestly, like, I kind of was leaning more to, like I was saying, like I almost thought it would be cooler for him to actually hunt Venom.
Yeah, because Venom's like an exotic, like he's an alien.
He's exactly what, because just like Spider-Man, like he was unique, so Kraven wanted to go hunt. Like that was pretty much the, in a nutshell, that was the point. Like. Yeah. Spider-Man was showing that he was a good hunter, getting all the fucking villains and sending them away. So Kraven was like, I bet I could get him.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm better than him. I'll get him. I'll prove it by getting him. Like that's pretty much how it works.
You prove that.
Yeah, and like I could just totally see, like, like Kraven seeing everything Venom's doing, and it's just like I'm gonna get that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, what is this thing?
Yeah, what is this thing? I'm gonna get him. Like, I think that would be cool. Almost like
I'm
I
excited for
seriously think it'd be cool.
Carnage.
It would be carnage.
They're gonna be carnage.
I want to see some of that, dude. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, I feel like they shot a bunch of that movie already. I'm surprised they didn't do anything.
Yeah, there's like pics of Woody Harrelson released.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do anything at Comic-Con.
He looks a little more normal than he did in Venom.
Yeah,
like his hair looks like so crazy.
That's fine. I hope he doesn't do it too over the top because Woody Harrelson's a really good actor.
What's that?
I said I hope he doesn't play it like too over the top because Woody Harrelson's a really good actor.
I'm just excited to see like their interpretation of what they think he's going to look like. I mean, it's going to look like Venom, but he's going to be red and black probably. But
I hope too. Like since they have a different director, like I inevitably liked how Venom looked.
I loved Venom.
I thought Venom was a great movie.
I thought it was great.
Like it had its problems, but like
it was a fun movie.
Things being equal, it was fun.
It was fun and entertaining, and I enjoyed it. I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I liked the dynamic between Eddie and Venom, like how they were like,
well, he's always been an anti-hero.
Well, I just liked their dynamic. Like I like it was funny. Like, you know what I mean? Him.
They brought some laughs to
him dealing with Venom, and like Venom's talking to him in his head, and he's
like, Venom was even like
good.
He was like the weak symbiote.
Yeah, like I like they did a lot of good things, and like there was a lot. There was some like stuff that's just like meh, like could have been better. One of the things too, like there was one thing I saw they had Todd McFarlane come on. I forget where it was, but he came on, and like when the Venom trailer was out, came out, someone did an interview with him, and they asked him about the Venom trailer because he if he didn't create Venom, he created at least the look of Venom where he is all hulking and big. And
yeah, he used to be a Spider-Man artist. Yeah,
the Venom that everybody knows and loves, which is like the big. Here, let me pull it up.
Like the giant monster Venom.
Yeah, that was Todd McFarlane.
I love Todd McFarlane.
So they asked him during this interview, like, what did you think of the trailer and everything? And he thought it looked good, and then like he was looking forward to seeing and everything. But they asked him like what he would do, like what he thought of the appearance of like Venom and everything. And the one thing that he said that he would change, it was like the eyes. They weren't like he had a better reasoning for it, but if you look at like his eyes right here, how they're like too squinty, and he has them coming up really big here, and then going out.
Well, that's like OG like comics Venom.
Yeah, well, that's Todd McFarlane Venom. Like he said, like that's like the one thing I would do because like he had a more actual like reasoning behind it as far as like the way the head is shaped and the way the eyes would be, and like the way like you're moving around, it creates a much like more visually appealing like dynamic for the character of Venom when you do it this way. It's like what he found in like his head, you know. And then another thing that he said was like there was something wrong with the teeth. Like they had like teeth just kind of like coming out of everywhere, and like as opposed to like
see, that's more realistic though. I don't think Venom would have a perfect set of chompers. Like,
well, no, because like you're talking about the guy who fucking created Venom, dude. I think he's got a better idea. Like, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like, I think he knows what he's talking about.
Maybe.
I think. But like he was saying, like there's just some teeth in there that don't make any sense as to like the way that it was morphing over Tom Hardy's mouth and the position of the teeth. It didn't make sense. So like,
well, look at that. Like
they had
picture one over from that. You can see Eddie Brock like halfway between. Like it's his mouth.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was something with dude. I'd have to find the interview. I don't know where it is. But like, oh look, see, so this is what he could have looked like. That was a better like rendition of like the eyes. I wouldn't have gone with as much as like this part because I think like that. I don't think he would get this much like that little bit, like the little dip there, unless the symbiote had been on Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying. And let's be real.
But something like this,
it's a fucking alien from outer space. Like he's gonna look.
All in all, I thought it looked great. I think he was just talking about like so this picture right here. See how he has like teeth on top of teeth on top of teeth with like teeth in like in all random places. That's what he was kind of commenting on more than anything, because like especially like right here,
I think it's a more realistic interpretation.
Well, no, Todd's argument was that it's less realistic because like he wouldn't physically have teeth there.
I don't know. We're talking about an alien from space that was made up for comic books. Like
This is true. This is very true. But like, so here, look, see,
he's got like fangs.
row of teeth, but he's got like fucking weird ass teeth everywhere, and like they go back like too far.
I like Todd McFarlane. I like Venom. I thought he looked fine in the movie.
All in all, I do agree. I would have liked the eyes to be a little bit bigger, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him that.
Man, that movie was really good.
I
like
like
wanna
because there were
rewatch it.
scenes like right here. I think this was actually from the movie where he like opened his eyes big,
Yeah.
and like I was like, that looks good. That looks real good. I'm like, I'm good with that. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be fucking dope for Kraven.
Tom McFarlane needs to stop commenting on that and working on a new Spawn movie.
He supposedly is, but no one wants to give him money to do it because he hasn't directed a movie before.
We'll have somebody else direct it and have him be like the producer.
No, he wants to make the movie. He wants to do it all himself. He wants to do it all himself, and he's trying to get people to like give him a bunch of money to do it. But like people are like,
Well, if you think about the old Spawn movie, it wasn't really necessarily like an A-list movie by any means. It had some big
they
actors.
have
in
Jamie
it.
Foxx signed on to play Spawn,
That'd be cool.
and then they have Jeremy Renner signed on to play Twitch, the cop.
What about the Violator?
None of that's been done. That's not supposed. What Todd McFarlane wants to do, and this is weird. You'd have to go and
Jamie Foxx would be a perfect Spawn.
yeah, it would be really good. If they ever make that movie, he would be really good as Al. Like he would be a very good Al Simmons. Like
Who played him in the first one? Michael Jai White.
Michael Jai White. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, Spawn is like my guilty pleasure movie.
I love Spawn.
I think
I've always been a Spawn fan.
Like, I love that movie. It's stupid.
It's stupid, but
really shitty.
At the time it came out, it was
No, there's
awesome.
some really cool stuff in that fucking movie, though. Like, there's some good ideas.
Spawn's a cool character.
Spawn's is a cool character. But here's the thing: the way Tom McFarlane has been pitching this movie, this Spawn movie, this is a little off topic from Venom, obviously, and not Kraven even, but he was essentially pitching this movie to where Spawn isn't even the main character of the movie, and he's just like in the shadow. And like he's like, I got this idea where you don't even see Spawn for half the movie. Like you just don't even see him. Like you barely ever see. It's just like the idea of him being there is like what's imposing, and it's like blah blah blah. Like it's really because Tom McFarlane kind of talks like that. He talks really like sporadically. Like it's Spawn.
He liked one of my pictures on Instagram, like Todd McFarlane. That was pretty cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Tom McFarlane is great, and I always get what he's like getting at, but I feel like I want to watch a Spawn movie and I want to fucking see Spawn, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want Spawn lurking in the shadows the whole fucking time.
No, it's Spawn. That's what I'm saying. Like he's
a
main character.
I like the mystique of like mystery and like him being lurking in the shadows and like maybe you only see his eyes light up green and like the fucking little mist shit come out. I like that shit. Fine, do that with a couple of scenes. But like I want to follow Al Simmons and Spawn. I don't want to follow Twitch the cop and then have Spawn be in the shadows.
Yeah, just like a secondary character.
Which is what we've gotten. Like that's kind of been what his pitches have been. It's like what he's been saying, the kind of movie he wants to make with it. And like
totally gotten off subject.
Yeah, totally, for sure. So anyways, guys. But no, so the Kraven thing.
What you Kraven?
What do you think if it's not going to be Kraven fighting Venom and it's not going to be Kraven hunting Spider-Man? What do you think they would even do?
I don't know.
Because like I just feel like without him, and this might just be negligence on my end.
He's not just like a villain that beats up other superheroes or anything.
Yeah.
He's got a purpose.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like this might be negligence because I haven't read a lot of Kraven stuff. Like I haven't, and but I get the idea behind Kraven and like a Kraven movie without something that's like The Last Hunt, where he's hunting Spider-Man essentially, or and taking that and applying it to Venom. We just gonna have like a Kraven origin story about him hunting like animals?
Well, it's not just he hunts like all kinds of weird shit from what I understand, but
well, I know, but if this is supposed to be like
an origin story, does he start out like
because are we gonna see him just hunting a bunch of animals and then like because what's he gonna do? Because you can't if
build it up like
Spider-Man's The Last Hunt and this is supposed to be like a superhero movie, well, they're not just gonna have him hunting animals. Like he'd have to have like something to go after, right? Yeah. So it's like, well, what would it even be if Spider-Man and Venom are off the table? What?
Perhaps other symbiotes.
Who is there to make a compelling movie?
I don't know enough about Kraven the character to really do make that decision.
Well,
to
neither
say.
am I, but like I'm just that's what I'm saying. Like I just don't know if there's anything else out there that I would find compelling because otherwise Sony only has access to Spider-Man characters. Granted, Kraven is a Spider-Man character, so he would have more than likely always hunted Spider-Man related things. Granted, like
Well,
I
in the
said, this
cartoon,
might
it
be
was just kind of
negligence.
like he's the bad guy. Oh,
He
he
just
didn't get Spider-Man next episode. Like,
yeah, I just don't know what else he would do. Is he going to hunt Morbius? 'Cause, I mean,
that's
he could.
possible. Yeah, Morbius is like a monster.
I
He's
just
just
don't know.
he's bloodthirsty. He wants
I
to
don't
hunt
even know
whatever he
what
can.
Morbius is going to be doing. Because that's what's so weird, like with Sony and doing this like Spider Verse of like movies and stuff. Is like they're trying to do all these movies without Spider Man, all these
Yeah.
Spider Man side characters without Spider Man. It's just weird. Like, what are you gonna do when you don't have Spider Man there? Because like Kraven's supposed to hunt Spider Man. Kraven's supposed to hunt Venom. If you're not using those, like, who the fuck's he gonna hunt? And who cares? I don't want to see Kraven hunting.
He's always been kind of a
Morbius.
secondary character, anyways. I mean, he's not like a main
Yeah.
star of the show.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. That's why I just find it weird without doing it that way. Because me as someone who isn't too well versed in the Kraven lore, I don't find it compelling for him to be hunting Morbius. You know what I mean? I would be more drawn to that idea of him hunting.
This is a fucking
Venom.
vampire. Like, he could. I don't know.
Yeah, Morbius could. I mean, the way they showcase Jared Leto's Morbius powers, like he's pretty fucking OP.
That's what I'm saying.
Like in all honesty, he seems really fucking OP.
Like, I think he could take Kraven. Like,
but the thing, like Kraven could take Kraven couldn't take Spider-Man.
I don't think he could either. I mean, he might be able to one up him for a little bit because he's powerful, but like,
Spider-Man has super strength. Spider-Man can stop a car moving at
Kraven
60
doesn't have
miles.
superpowers. He's just a dude who hunts.
Yeah, like Kraven could not.
He's big.
Like hand to hand, no matter how Jack Kraven is, he ain't taking on Spider-Man.
You think he goes to the gym just like, I'm gonna kill Spider-Man this time? Like,
Probably, like just squashing all the spiders in the corners.
That's what I was saying. Just like,
like practice.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, what do you think, guys? Are you guys just as kind of confused, at least as I am to some degree, as if what are they going to do with this Kraven movie if they're not going to use, Spider-Man or Venom in it? Because to me, that's the most compelling way that Kraven is used is when he's hunting those particular like characters. Like I don't find it too compelling to see him going after someone. You could find a convincing and compelling story, I guess. If you gotta kind of create some backstory where maybe some big bad guy killed someone he's close to, whatever. And now he's gonna hunt them down. But then that's just more of a revenge plot that we've seen over and over and over again. So I don't know, guys. Maybe some people out there who are more well versed in some Kraven lore out there could educate me on it because I don't really know. So whatever it is, whatever you guys think about it, just let us know down in the comment section below. So that'll do it for us today, guys. I lied. That was actually our final topic of the day. We've ran a little bit too long, so we're just going to move the next topic to next week if we so please to cover it next week anyway. So don't forget, guys, you can email us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. You can send us any questions for topics or anything you want us to cover on the show. Just send it our way. And then, Rick, where can everybody find you online?
Sir Rick Metz, right below.
What is that? The tweeters, the Instagrams?
Instagram, not my Facebook. You just find my real name on there, but don't do that. So follow me on Instagram.
Now everybody's gonna do that.
Yeah.
And anybody.
You don't know my real name though.
Yeah, it's super secretive. Super hard to figure out. Anyways, you can follow me at Sir Rob Bifo. I'm barely over on social media, but you can find it there. We got some other stuff we want to do later. We kind of teased a Fitness Friday. Maybe that'll be coming up soon. What else we got, Rick? We got anything else? You got anything else you want to cover?
No, I think that's about it.
Well, stay tuned too, because we're probably in some way or another we're gonna have some extended coverage. Not extended, but maybe a special episode of something about DC fandom once it comes out. We might have a show kind of just dedicated to kind of everything that comes out of fandom, assuming there's enough stuff on there, which I think there will be some things on there to talk about. So depending on how big some stuff is, I might just fucking hop on here real quick and just record something to talk about. So you never know. So stay tuned, guys. That's pretty much it. I'm at Sir Rob Bifo. Here's Rick Metz. Take care.